What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? What's up, man? Let me just get the alert sent out, and I got you guys. All right, all that should be good to go. We should be everything out. Is the thing not working, man? Uh, uh, yeah, I might have to. Hold on. To be honest, I might just have to do this later. Alrighty, let me see if that fixed it. See if it works now. Where do you watch the stream? It should be on Twitch and I think YouTube, but I'll probably watch on the stream. When is the stream? The stream starts at 3:30 p.m. East, so in 40 minutes. So we do have some stuff we can take a look here, guys, while we're waiting. It's going to drop the starting screen. So this is Cyclone. This was obviously Gamescom, someone took a picture of that and, you know, shared it on Reddit. So we can take a look at Cyclone. You guys might have seen this, but it requires dual swords or single two-hand sword. So I guess it doesn't work with one hand. I'm not too sure on that front. But it says you obviously channel to spin rapidly, damaging targets around you and moving forward, overlapping on elemental ground surfaces, takes on that element, applying the elemental ground surface debuff to enemies hit. Using the skill from Blood or Sand Stance causes blood waves or sand discs to fly out for the first few seconds of channeling. We can see the blood and sand enhancement lasts 8 seconds. So I guess whenever you obviously enhance with it, you would only have 8 seconds to have that up. So I don't know if it'd be a case to where it would be beneficial to every 8 seconds, you know, rebuff it with blood or sand. But we'll have to see, you know, how that looks. We can't sadly see the sand or blood enhancement stats, but the normal Cyclone is 40% less move speed while channeling. While dual wielding, you get 30% less attack speed, and both weapons hit separately. So obviously, if you're dual wielding, you'd have the beneficial factor of both your weapons are hitting. So you would kind of like do more damage, obviously, but you'd have less attack speed, it seems. But you probably still have more than a two-hand, but I guess just less front-up damage. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of nice, unique two-handed or dual-wield swords, I mean, that would pair really nicely that you would want to do with that. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see what the unique swords obviously are. It also says other modifiers to attack speed also affect this skill's cost. So obviously the cost does seem pretty high. 25 mana per second, and then obviously attack speed also affects the skill's cost. So if you're having a lot of attack speed on your Cyclone, I could see this, you know, potentially being an issue with the mana per second cost. So, but I mean, otherwise the skill is pretty good, right? 330% of base for attack speed. You have 80% basically attack damage, gem level 13. Um, seems to be pretty decent overall. So I guess maybe their way of balancing it is through the mana, which I'd rather have that than other sources, right? To be honest, mana is, I feel like, kind of easy to late game get around, where if the skill just had base like attack damage be pretty low, then obviously it's not really too much you can work around with. There was other stuff that got leaked. This is what do you call it, the video? I don't even really know how to pronounce his name. But he apparently has 8 new sword skills, and there's a bunch of stuff here, right, that he showed. I'll link that video in chat for you guys, but we'll take a look at this. I couldn't figure out any other sources of where he's getting this from, and I didn't see anything in his information above in this video is based on leaked, unconfirmed information. So, like, I don't know where he got this from. If it's the Gamescom panel, PoE 2DB, not too sure, but I still thought it'd be a cool thing to take a look on stream at it. Gladiator. We don't know the ascendancies for Duelist. I would assume one of them is going to be Gladiator, right? And then probably like Slayer maybe, and then the new one. But yeah, we don't really know yet. So this is Blade Lunge. It says plunge your blade into the ground, damaging nearby targets and sending out multiple fissures that trigger buried blade when they end. All buried blades explode after you finish channeling. Channeling for an additional attack time primes the buried blades, causing their explosions to deal more damage in a larger area. Using the skill from Blood Stance or Sand Stance creates blood pools or sand discs around the buried blades, damaging nearby enemies for as long as you hold the skill. So I probably should get up the... let me see if I can find really quickly so I can show you some gameplay with this. Trying to find the Gamescom trailer. Hold on. Bam, bam, bam. There we go. Hold on, I gotta get out of here to actually throw this correctly in there. There we go. Bam, bam, bam. Hey, what's up, Ajax? So buried blade, right? That we see here, buried blade, or blade plunge, I guess it's called. I think that is this skill. Where is it at? I think he shows it here soon. That skill right there. I believe that's what blade plunges. We obviously throw it into the ground, and then we could see later on he like charges it more. Right there. I think that's the full channel charge with Sand Stance, and that's where the additional blades are popping up at. So that looks like an interesting skill. I don't know exactly how useful that's going to be, obviously, in bossing, but I could see maybe it to where you can get the channeling up and maybe enough AoE on the skill to where that'd be a really good, just like, kind of dash in, use, clear pack, the next type thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know exactly how useful that'll be for a single target, though. Seems just mainly used for, obviously, clearing. We can see the thing is create 3 fissures. Maximum channeling time is 4 seconds. Modifiers to attack speed also affect this skill's cost. So it looks like a common theme, at least for this in Cyclone, is the more attack speed, the more mana cost you're going to have on a lot of these sword skills. And then the plunge damage radius is 1.1 meters. Fissure breaches do not create a blade, and then it triggers buried blade at fissure end. There's other stuff here too that we can see, like the explosion. This is lightning bolts, blood ground, sand disc, buried blade, all this other junk that we sadly can't see the stats on. But looks like a cool skill though. The attack damage and other stuff looks pretty good on it. I think it'll be a good clearing skull, but I think that'll be about it. It's just for clear. And does he get into Intimidate. This is a war cry. Seems interesting. Perform a war cry intimidating nearby enemies and empowering subsequent melee attacks that trigger a damaging shockwave on hit. The skill's cooldown can be bypassed by expanding an endurance charge. I don't know if we actually seen that in the Gamescom little teaser that we got. So it says it empowers 1 attack per 10 enemy power in range, counting up to 50 power, intimidating enemies for 8 seconds. Worker radius is 4 meters, and empowered attacks trigger a shockwave on up to the first 3 enemies hit. I don't know exactly if you're going to be spamming this, you know what I'm saying, and using this a lot. But it would be something that we have to play with. Because obviously just the only first 3 enemies hit with the shockwave, don't really know how good that's going to be for clearing, but I could see using that to intimidate enemies would be pretty nice, especially on bosses. This is this dude's channel right here. I don't even know how to pronounce it, like Uthendar or something like that. I linked it in chat earlier. I could not find this info anywhere else. Like, it's literally not on the Reddit, right? There's no like pictures of the skills. I tried PoE2B, couldn't figure that out. So I'm not too sure where he got it from, if he got it from the floor or not. But I mean, these look pretty legit to me. But obviously, they could be, you know, some stuff could change on these. But I mean, it looks to be pretty on par with what we've seen. So I'm not too sure where he got it from, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, face reveal, yeah. Oh, we got an ad. He's playing freaking ads, bro. Oh, well, that's going on. We'll check back here in a second. There's KFC. You guys hungry for some KFC? All right. Earthrend. Gouge ground with your sword, creating a damaging fissure that causes a blade to erupt at its terminus. If it is used from ready stance, instead, create a series of blades along the path of the fissure, or the length of the fissure. Did we see Earthrend in here? Was one of these Earthrend? No, that's not Earthrend. That's Bladestorm, I think. I don't think that's it. That maybe is Earthrend? Right here, where he's like throwing the little, you know, like rocks at the enemies. Maybe that's it. Or I got them from someone at GGG. Jonathan said they said, hey, you seem like you wouldn't like this. Probably. I mean, I know today the embargo lifts because Gamescom you were allowed to record gameplay of the Duelist, and I know Zizarin and Karn was there, but there is like a kind of an embargo that you can't release content until I think pretty much either after the GGG stream or like right when the GGG stream starts. So that's why we didn't get any like crazy leaks and gameplay and all that, right? So do. Let's go to the next skill. Sand Scour. There used to be a lot of like kind of like sand skills. I mean, I guess that makes sense with blood and sand, right? Being there. You would have like blood and sand stuff, but then there also seems to be like for Cyclone at least, right? How you're able to basically take on the ground surfaces. I would assume the taming ring would work with that, right? Because if so, then it's like the taming ring with Cyclone would be absolutely insane. If you're able to get, you know, all ground surfaces on your Cyclone, it'd be pretty nutty. So what does this skill do? Step backwards and slash forward while flinging sand. Okay, so that had to be the skill that we seen then, where he was throwing like the stuff forward. Blinding enemies and heavy stunning enemies that are primed for stun. Consume a frenzy charge if possible to additionally fire sand discs. The skill can be used while using other skills to interrupt them and can be held to enter ready stance after use, or sand stance instead if an enemy was heavy stunned or a frenzy charge was consumed. Interesting. Leakers don't care; they just make throwaway accounts and eat the bans. True, but I mean, we haven't got anything leaked yet, so it's surprising, right? But yeah, it seems like majority of these skills have like ready stance and stuff. And there was a post, I think I have it here. Yeah, that should show you what these do. There we go. Ready stage, which I would assume is the ready stance because this is being translated. Ready stage changes your skills and gives you extra power. Hold the right mouse button for ready stance. Press the left mouse button to unleash a wave, right? So looks like majority of these skills are going to have stuff like this where you can ready a stance and use a skill. My only concern with this is there seems to be a lot of comboing with it, right? Like ready your stance, you got like the blood and sand stance stuff that you can activate, or if you have it, it'll empower the attack, and like a lot of stuff like that. That it's, I don't know exactly how good it's gonna feel. I mean, as long as the skills do enough damage, it won't be an issue. But you know, the fact that you like go in, use an attack, right click the ready stance, left click to throw an attack out. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know exactly if all this is going to play as well, but I'm sure we'll get a lot of first impressions from people that were actually there today. And then there was also one more. Yes, this one, Blood Stage. Uh, Enemies to improve the Blood Stage ready stage and grant you additional effects. Hold the middle mouse button to parry enemies. Hold the right mouse button for Blood Stance. Press the left mouse button to unleash a wave of blood. So it's like, you know, you have the parry on middle mouse button with ready and stance on like right click, but then you also have a way to go in the blood stance as well. So it seems like a lot of comboing you can do with swords, right? You can lens translate? Yeah, pretty much. $50 is only important during campaign. Well, that's what I was thinking too, Epic, because like majority of these stuff, right? The same thing with spears, right? Like there's a lot of comboing you can do with spears. Same thing with like the druid, with a lot of the, you know, werewolf forms and stuff like that. But when you get to endgame, majority of people only use like 1 to 2 things out of that whole kit instead of the 5, 6 things you can combo into. So I wonder exactly, you know, how impactful using ready stance is going to be, like, and using the blood stage parry mechanics and stuff like that with swords. Because, like, obviously, once you get endgame, you're not going to want to sit there, middle mouse button to parry, right click to, you know, ready stance, left click to throw your skill out, then dodge an attack, then middle mouse button to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't want to use 4 or 5 buttons to get one attack off if you're not going to, like, just one shot the boss or do an absurd amount of damage. So we'll have to see, but I'm hoping that it feels good, though. As long as the damage is there, it feels good, it'll be fine. You can probably try to one-shot stuff with the stance stuff. Probably, I mean, like spears, right? You can parry, and that's a really good mechanic that gives you a lot of damage, but nobody uses it just because later in game it just becomes kind of a headache to deal with the heavy stun, and you're already doing so much damage, you don't need that. But we'll see. So we've seen Sand Scour. He has Engage. Isn't there a thing from Spear that's like Disengage, right? I guess it's like the difference thing, like you'll leap in. 1.5 damage multiplier, my beloved. Yeah, right. Alright, stab forward with your weapon, causing knockback and stun buildup. Hitting an enemy that has been parried consumes the debuff, can cause an explosion around them, and grant you a frenzy charge. This skill can be used while using other skills to interrupt them. Okay, so this is like frenzy charge generation stuff. I think that's pretty much the only thing you'd use it for. Obviously, early campaign, it might be nice for the explosion, but like, I'm not too sure. So 0.8 meters to melee strike range, 100% more stun and knockback. Consume parry on hits to cause, or to grant frenzy charges, sorry. While dual wielding, both weapons hit separately with 30% less damage and knocks back enemies. I think you'd mainly use this just for frenzy charge generation. Pretty much that's it. I don't think you'd really be spamming this that much. Same as Hunter's Disengage? Yeah, pretty much. Just for swords. World Cutter. This is interesting. AoE melee strike, okay. Channeling. A lot of channeling skills, huh? Staged. Channel to encase your sword with power and release to cleave the world and twine. Okay. Each stage increases the area and damage of the strike. The skill has its own attack time. Now, I don't think this isn't the what do you call it skill, right? Doesn't count Geonor's skill, right? Or is it? I think right here. That's not counting Geonor's, no, because that's an ice, and this is saying it's. Yeah, this is definitely not that. Interesting. 1.3 meters to melee strike range, maximum 3 stages. Channeling ends 1 second after reaching maximum stages. 200% more damage per additional stage. So you have max of 3 stages. So would that mean you're getting 400% more damage? Or is it 600% more damage? I mean, that seems pretty cracked for a boss skill, no? And you also have it blood enhanced and sand enhanced, it looks like, too, down there. I mean, this just seems like a boss one-shot skill, Loki. What are they adding fun to the game, though? I mean, hopefully with 0.5, you know? I mean, yeah, this seems kind of cracked. Cyclone, we already seen. There's Perforate. Stab forward 3 times in rapid succession. The final strike and the sequence drills forward. Basically, same thing. Causing rapid additional hits that inflict the bleeding. Using the skill from Ready Stance, immediately performs the final strike and additionally causes the drill's first hit against each enemy to release a Blood Nova if you are in Blood Stance, or Sand Disc if you're in Sand Stance. Interesting. So these are the Sand Discs over here that he's on. Dual wielding, both weapons hit separately with 20% less damage. This hit every 0.15 seconds. This gain up to 150% more area of effect over 0.4 seconds. This radius is 0.5 meters, and sends out 1 disc per stage. Or per side, actually. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this skill. Kind of feels an to me. Nothing crazy. Does he have any more? Nah, nothing. That's it. Okay. There's still some skills that I'm really interested in. Obviously, it would be what skill? These 2 skills are here, the double flicker ones. So this one is interesting. And then this one with the chaos stuff. Now, I don't know if this chaos one is an ascendancy class specific skill, because obviously it seems the common theme of these skills are like physical slash, you know, bleed, and then a few elemental ones, but I'm not seeing any of them that would be quote unquote like chaos, right? So I wonder if that one is a specific ascendancy one. Same thing with this one. Like, wonder if that's an ascendancy, and then this is another ascendancy, right? Rowan, right? Yeah. I mean, I think obviously the go-to for everybody's going to be Cyclone, right? Like, a lot of the people are going to try to build on Cyclone. And we might do the same, but I'm really kind of hoping these other 2 skills over here are able to be built around, and we could just kind of spam these for pack clearing and stuff like that, right? These 2 ones. But I guess we'll just have to see. Well, we have like 15 minutes until it starts. Dust Devil, yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. That's all the info that we have right now. There's nothing else that has been shown. So we just have to wait for the stream today. So yeah, we're gonna get that right. I think they put out a. Let me look at something. I think they put out a schedule. Yeah, this is it. So GG Live begins 12:30 p.m. August 27th BDT, which is 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the fourth and final Exile Con starts right after the live stream at 2 p.m. PDT, August 27th, or 5 p.m. EDT. So it's what, an hour and a half basically of showcasing stuff. So probably like an hour maybe showcasing and a half hour of Q&A, or vice versa. Because I'm sure they're not going to show too much of 1.0, right? I don't think they would be doing that. Just because they have ExileCon, and I don't think they're going to show too much. They might talk about it a little bit, but I think majority is going to be the 0.5.5 kind of content. So we got, like I said, 15 minutes until that starts. I mean, it looks good though. Swords look really fluid, and looks like there's a lot of build diversity in them. I'm just hoping it's not the case where they're so combo heavied and you need to do 3 to 4 button inputs just to get one skill out that does damage. That's my kind of worry right now, seeing with like, ready stance and parry and consuming the parry and doing other stuff to go into blood stance. It's like, I'm just hoping it's literally not a 4 to 5 button combo to use one skill that does like 3% of the boss's HP. Play through the, I'm gonna ask you extended demo just now. I might have something to do 24 1.0. Yeah, right. Okay. Never heard of that game. Am I uncultured because of that? New one's releasing in a week. Ooh, okay. We got a whole minute ad. I'm gonna just throw it over here for now, or not leave this playing. This way we don't have to wait for a whole minute ad. Origin was kind of goated. Okay. So what's your guys' predictions on release date for the mid-season stuff? Do you think it'll be like end of September? Like early September? You think they won't even do September and they'll do like October? My hot take is that swords will be the same as Huntress on release. I honestly think that that's could be a good possibility. I mean, that's the way Spears was basically, right? Like you were saying, Epic, like nobody liked them because the combos, and then people started actually learning them, and it's like Twisters, seeing how broken they are. So we'll have to see. Okay. Combo press one button and then another. Yeah. That's my only concern is the comboing. Because obviously, if the comboing rewards, then it's fine. But if it's do 3 to 4 button pushes to do 3% or 5% of the boss's HP bar, then it's like no one's gonna like that, right? No one's gonna play it. But as long as it's a substantial amount of damage and it feels good and rewarding, then you're fine. It only mattered during the campaign, if even then. I mean, it depends. Like, with enough gear and currency thrown, anything feels good. Also, what is going on with this, by the way? Hello? Chat. There we go. Holy. There we go. Throwing a Twister? Yeah, true. Because of GTA 6? Are they having their stuff right now? I thought their stuff didn't happen until later in the day, like at 5 or something, 6. Are they having their showcase right now? Oh, really, Epic? Okay, yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of streamers. Yeah, 2 million live viewers right now. GTA is crazy. Jesus. So we have 10 minutes, chat. 10 minutes until the big reveal. Let me try to get the sound set up here. Throw that on. I'm gonna stop that really quickly and see if I can get the setup for you guys. Oh, I thought something was going on right now. Just showing the trailer again. Holy.
In the arena.
There we go. We got the sound set up. We got it ready to go. I had to guess how early game Swords will play is parry into the AoE explosion skill for bossing. We have to see because no skill into fully. Pretty much, yeah, Epic. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like I said, I'm really hoping that a lot of the skills are viable. Right. I don't want to have it to where it's like only 2 to 3 skills in the whole 16. Just say if there's that many, right, are only viable. Because like I'd love to do Cyclone. I'd love to do a lot of the sand stuff. Whatever that skill and like the Chaos Teleport Flicker Strike skill. Like there's a lot of cool looking ones. I'm hoping it's not just one thing. And I'm also hoping that Cyclone isn't trash too. That would suck if Cyclone is just horrible. Yeah, I've seen that, man. It's like 2 million people right now watching it, and I wonder why, Twitch is like kind of messed up right now. I mean, just these skill cycling, like how you use skill twister attack speed. True. The only issue is you have to worry about mana. Because, like, I think I've seen some people talking about it, and you can potentially get up to where it's like 100 mana per second or more, right? So you would definitely have to look into ways of, like, helping that out. Mana leech will finally be useful, I guess. True. Thieves Torment. Has mana per enemy hit with attacks, yeah. So you could run Thieves Torment. I mean, that will give you mana on hit, right? And I mean, I guess that could sedate it if you have like 5 attacks or something per hit, like per second. Then maybe, right? But yeah, like you said, it does suck that you can't use other rings. So it's like, I don't know. You definitely want to try to figure another way though, because like that is not something you want. You know what's actually interesting too though? Is the alternate quality that Gemling gives. I wonder what's going to be on Cyclone, because right now it's just more move speed with quality. So it's like, I wonder what that's going to be. Five minutes, boys. 5 minutes. And we can see how good or bad it's going to be. Lord Weave modifier 10% of max mana when enemy dies. Yeah, requires death. I think that's going to be the real issue is bossing, right? Like clearing, you could easily get like percent mana back on kill, mana hit, you know what I'm saying? Like mana on death, whatever. But bossing is going to be the real issue. TJ6 is looking really good. Really? I'll have to watch like all the stuff after today. Sadly, you can't like look at it now, right? They aren't releasing the new GTA Online, right? When GTA comes out, GTA 6, isn't it going to be like story for like, I don't know, 6 months or something like that, 8 months? And then it's going to be all the like online stuff probably. The intro mission? Okay, gotcha. Just sucks that it's not on PC because it's like I don't want to get a console to play the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that for me, like it's just the biggest turn off. Which sucks though, because you're gonna be behind kind of everybody in a sense. But yeah. I've seen that gut sword going around. That's on a press kit. I don't think I have the press kit downloaded right now, but yeah. Just gotta wait a year? Yeah, it sucks. Or go out and buy like a $500-600 console to play one game, you know? It sucks. Three minutes, chat. Two minutes. I'm not too sure the max epic. I wonder if GTA's taking a lot of the PoE viewers too. Like, how much does PoE have right now? Okay, 90K. Never mind. I think it's about that, right? Or definitely it's probably taking some, right? But it still seems to be doing pretty good. Said kids, they've put out a thing and they said at 5 p.m. East they're doing the Exile Con, like race thing, right? The race stream that's going to happen right after this. So it looks like it's going to be about an hour and a half. And then they're going to go over to like the race stuff at Exile, or not Exile Con, but you know, the race qualifier things, whatever, for ExileCon. So I don't know if that means we'll get like an hour showcase, 30-minute Q&A, or if it'll be like a 45-minute Q&A, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like split evenly. Not too sure, but it should be about an hour and a half, start to finish. What's up, Kaka? How you doing? All right, chat. Let me go ahead and turn off the music and turn this up. Let me know if the sound is too loud, too low, so I can fix it for you guys. But we got 50 seconds left. I'm gonna turn off obviously all of the stuff too, all the, you know, stream goals, the chat overlays, this way you guys can get full experience here. And then let me actually turn off to that. There we go for you guys. Taming Loreweave with Dream Fragments, making each own freeze immune. That would be, and you could still hold a third one there. True. For me, it's low. Live stream sound is low. Can you make sure that your thing's turned up, Kaka? Like your Twitch volume? Before I go ahead and do that. Because for me, it sounds pretty loud. But I don't know, it could be bugging. Does it sound low to like everybody else? Like Min Epic? Does it sound low here? Or does it sound good? What's up, Christopher? How you doing? Here we go, boys. Here we go. I'll turn it up a little bit more than for you guys.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers,
Let me know how
game
that
director
sounds.
on Path of Exile 2, and today I'm excited to show off our new class, the Duelist, which will be available in the 1.0 release on December the 11th.
I was going to say
But
0.5,
for those of you who
0.5.
just can't wait until 1.0 later this year, after showing the Duelist, we'll also be showing off a new event based on the Ritual League called the Forbidden Rites, which will be releasing next week along with the 055
Next
update.
week, damn.
And after all that, a Q&A with Ziggy D to answer your questions from Twitch chat.
So it's a
Not
ritual
only
event.
that, afterwards we'll be going straight to the final qualifier for the PoE 2 races, the winner of which will be going to ExileCon in November to compete in the finals.
Still too low?
First, the Duelist.
Ajax, you guys,
Now
was the volume
Duelist
still
comes
too low?
with a new weapon type that it's kind of crazy we didn't have, swords. And with each new weapon type, we want to make sure that the playstyle feels different to all the others. So what defines combat with a sword? To us, it's that feeling of flow, from attack to attack, and from stance to stance. And what better place to demonstrate the Duelist's abilities than the ruins of the Grand Arena? The corpses of the dead continue to fight endlessly as the arena collapses around them. And should you get to the center, you'll be able to face Thrax, their champion. The first mechanic we need to talk about is Ready Stance. After using some Duelist skills, you can keep holding the button to ready your blades for your next strike. Normally, your basic sword slash would look like this. But in Ready Stance, it turns into a deadly AoE slash instead. Your Ready Stance also has the ability to be upgraded. This is Sand Scour, another Ready Stance attack. And if you stun enemies with it, you'll enter Sand Stance. And using this with your default attack will send out a Sand Disc. But default attack isn't the only ability that can be modified by your stance. Like Perforate, for example. This skill is a triple stab, where the third strike sends out drills, bleeding your enemies. But from Ready Stance, you can skip right to the drills. If you use it from Sand Stance though, it will send out a bunch of mini sand discs from every enemy it hits. Perfect for large packs. Together, these basic abilities give a very unique feel to sword combat. It's quite different than any other class we've made, flowing from ability to ability. There's also some abilities that you can use while in Ready Stance, without breaking it.
Reminds
Good
me of
example
RuneScape,
are
yeah.
war cries, like this one, Intimidate. Use it to deliver a cutting insult to your foe, intimidating them and causing your next attack to knock them off balance. Another great ability you can use already is Rending Dash. This movement skill slices through monsters, but since you stay in Ready
Ooh.
Stance, it allows you to reposition to the perfect angle to strike. So far, we've been using Sand Stance to tackle these enemies, But what about Blood Stance? For that, we'll need to switch from two-hand to dual wield. Now,
Oh,
with swords,
so
we wanted to
two-hand
make sure that the
sand,
different
dual
options
wields
of one-hand,
bleed, like
two-hand,
blood
or
stance.
dual wield each have their own
Okay.
interesting playstyle. So unlike other weapon types, dual wielding swords gives you the ability to parry attacks. Follow up with Bloodied Blade to enter Blood Stance. When using this one with default attack, you'll create a deadly blood wave, causing your enemies to bleed. And of course, Blood Stance will also work with other skills that benefit from
She's doing
stances.
damage, true.
So use it with Perforate, for example, and you'll get a bunch of mini blood novas. Once your enemies are bleeding, you might want to try out Hemorrhage. This skill creates deadly blood slashes that drastically speed up the bleeding on your enemies. And once the enemies have built up enough blood loss, slice through them with a Rending Dash to consume all the blood loss for a Giga Bleed.
Interesting.
Now, one skill we couldn't have made the Duelist without is Cyclone. It's an absolute fan favorite, and just like before, when using it, you can spin to win. But this class is all about using stances, so how about we try it with one of those? Use Cyclone from Sand Stance, and you'll be spewing sand discs at your enemies.
That
left
looks
and right.
dope.
Great for AoE clear. Now, Parry also had a significant upgrade compared to before, and it's a lot more reliable now. But there's also another way to parry monsters that doesn't require waiting for them to attack you.
Yeah, bleed builds are going to be kind of cracked with the, what was the
By
skill he said?
switching to
To
a shield,
consume them?
you can now bash enemies straight out of ready stance to parry them without waiting for an attack. During the arena's heyday, challengers would first have to face deadly beasts to test their mettle, so why should it be any different now? Before you can face Thrax, you will need to defeat these dangerous adversaries to prove
Shield
your worth.
bash force parry login. Okay.
Another trick the Duelist has up his sleeves are buried blades. Earthrend creates blades that slice through the ground towards your enemies, and once in the ground, these blades have a few uses. The first one of these can be done using Charged Slash. The basic version is a simple lightning-infused cleave, but do it from ready stance, and it changes into a deadly spin, sending out lightning projectiles. But Charged Slash can also be used with the buried blades. Hitting them will turn them into mini Tesla coils, dealing lightning damage to nearby enemies. It seems here we have a warrior who refused to die.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
sure we
another
could put his
act,
equipment to
Ajax.
better use.
I think it is.
Quiet. I've no guilt in this.
Wait. Is this a mark?
You could also
Oh, there's a
switch to a
corpse.
two-hander to plunge your blade into the ground,
fudge?
sending out a set of 3 blades that explode.
And that should be a new
But if
act.
you use Earthrend first, then you can get even more blades, and the blade plunge will make all of them explode. If you want an even greater field of blades, using Ready Stance with Earthrend has an interesting effect. Instead of creating one blade, it makes an entire wall of them. You can also hold the blade plunge skill to charge up the swords even further before they explode.
That's cool.
Ooh, watch out for those chimeras. So for maximum damage, use Ready Stance into Earthrend, charge them up with Charge Slash, and do a held Blade Plunge for a massive explosion. But that's not all. Blood and Sand work with the Blade Plunge too, to empower all your buried blades. Use it with Sand to generate continuous sandstorms around all your blades. And this can be a devastating combo to blend bosses. Or use it with Blood to create blood pools around each blade. Cycloning through the blood pools will add blood to your Cyclone, so that can be a fun option. But while we're talking about that, Cyclone counts as a storm, so it can pick up other elemental ground effects too. Blade Conduit will summon a bolt of lightning to your blade and create shocking ground, and cycloning through it will add lightning to your Cyclone.
Taming ring about to go crazy,
Combine it with the
boys.
blood to get both effects. And of course, it's possible to get blood, sand, ice, fire, and lightning all at the same time on your Cyclone. You guys will have to work out a good build for that yourselves.
Taming ring about to go crazy.
Already you can see from just the tools I've shown you, this class has a lot of interesting combinations of abilities. With even just a few skills, there are a huge number of options you can do in combat. Now before we get to the boss fight of this area, there's just one more skill I'd like to show
World
you.
cutter. Okay, what is
World
this
Cutter.
one?
Charge it up and unleash the ultimate slash. That's not all.
Dang.
Like so many of the Duelist abilities, it can be further enhanced with Blood Stance. or
Nah,
Sand
that's
Stance
aura.
too.
That's aura.
Alright, so those are just a few of the tools the Duelist has at his disposal. So let's use them to face the true threat.
That is
Thrax,
Aura.
champion of the arena.
No need for taming. I mean, you get all three for free. Why not? Instead of having to throw all of the ground effects on at the same time. See how quickly this guy kills him. Okay, ZDPS so far. Right. Come on, start cycloning, man. Okay, that's good damage. Sort of. I mean, it was decent damage. About to die over there. Hemorrhage skill might be pretty great? Yeah, it might be. I wish he would use it on the boss so we could see. But seems like he's not. Holy damage! What was that?
So
World
that's a
Cutter
taste
OP!
of what we have in store for the Duelist. It's my favorite class I've ever worked
Holy!
on, and provides a really dynamic combat experience.
Okay, World
that's just
Cutter
quite unlike
is
any
OP.
other ARPG.
But we also wanted to show what kind of possibilities there are for the Duelist in the endgame.
Oh!
To do that, I'll hand things over to Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, game director on Path
Show me
of
what you
Exile.
cooking, Mark!
Today, we're going to go through 2 in-game builds that we've put together for the
Oh my
Duelist made by our
gosh.
developers.
What is
Our
that?
first build is called the Bringer of Blades, a mighty name once feared in the arena. This build is all about rising buried blades from beneath the ground. Some say each sword created by this build
Nah,
is
that's
from a foe
insane.
slain in battle in the gladiator arena, and from the afterlife, they offer their sword back to you in respect. The bread and butter of this build uses Earthrend, supported by the lineage support Calm's Madness, to maximize the efficiency of creating buried blades. It combines that with the Blade Conduit skill, to charge up all the blades with lightning. You can also use the Astral Projector support on it to be able to do so from ranged, if you want to minimize risk and play shock round underneath your enemies.
That's pretty cool.
We also have Earthrend supported by Electrocute, so that we can keep the enemies crowd controlled. Then it's just simple. Spam Earthrend, occasionally using Blade Conduit to refresh the
Arena
charge
blades,
lightning on all
honestly,
the
very
blades.
similar.
For stronger enemies, or larger packs, we want to be able to get sand stuns. The best way to do that while clearing is using Combat Frenzy. Simple, now you're generating frenzy charges. With those, we can use Sand Scour to enter sand stuns. And from sand stuns, use Blade Plunge to cause sand discs to appear on all of our many buried blades, covering the screen in storms of sand. Of course, you want to use eroding sands too, because as the sand discs are doing many small hits, you want to make sure enemies have as little armor as possible for maximum damage. Alongside that, since we're doing lightning damage, we're also going to throw in the new support Sandstorm, which causes our sand discs to become infused with lightning.
Damn, that damage! Holy
The other tool
man.
we're using
Oh my
is
God.
this support, which causes
Imagine.
all your buried blades to add miniature auras that
Nah.
give you damage.
Okay.
To double down on that further, we have this new passive skill Notable, which also causes your buried blades to make you angry,
Oh, we'll
causing
gain
you
rage?
to generate rage on
Infinite
hit while near
rage?
them. With those, we want even more buried blades. So, let's take it to the extreme. And for that, we have this skill, Rain of Steel. which allows you to call down a whole ruckus of swords.
So basically Rain of
covering the
Blades.
entire battlefield in buried blades.
Rain of Steel, the same thing as Rain of
It's pretty
Blades.
obvious what to do next. Just use the existing combos, and the entire screen becomes surging with lightning
You were
as
right, man.
Sanddiscs run wild.
Basically.
There's more coming even still. Alongside the Duelist, we've made a whole
Look at that
bunch
katana,
of
bro.
new epic swords. I mean, just look at them all. This build in particular uses this sword, which causes all your buried blades to be enhanced by Karui magic and become ancestrally boosted.
No, give it to me
Then,
now.
take these
I
new
wanna
passive
play
skill
'em.
notables specifically for boosted attacks to improve your efficiency even further. There's a few new ways to boost attacks with the Duelist, and we're excited for you to discover and integrate them into your builds. With all that combined, look at this actual mayhem.
Damage. Let's see damage.
Now,
That's pretty
we
good
tried to
damage.
not use unique items on this build, as we wanted to show its potential with just standard gear and skills. But this next one is a different story. So, let's move on to our second build. Here we have the Scourge Walker. For this build, we
Ooh.
wanted to do Cyclone with a twist.
Bleed is gonna go
For
crazy.
that, we're going to use some uniques, starting with a new sword being introduced alongside the Duelist, Oro's Sacrifice. This sword grants a ton of fire damage, at the expense of your physical damage, and grants a new skill called Infernal Step. Infernal Step itself is pretty
That's
fun
that skill that we seen.
and pretty epic. Use it as you flicker around, burning enemies as you strike.
Oh, that's
Be
flicker,
wary, though.
sword flicker,
There are
basically.
both upsides and downsides to using this skill consecutively. Each use gains you a stack of Sacrificial Flame. While
Damn.
this isn't inherently a downside, using Infernal Step while you have Sacrificial Flame causes you to take fire damage, and the more you have, the more you take. So you want to make sure you mitigate as much fire damage taken as possible. In order to do this, we're using even more uniques. Like these, which have received some changes. Molten Tenet and Zoph's Blood. Then, we've just gone and used good armor gear in our core armor slots to stack up as much defense as possible. So, what about damage? We're doing a few things here that are pretty out there. Given we're using Oro's Sacrifice, we're dealing purely fire damage. However, we still need to be able to bleed for some huge DPS you'll see soon. To do that, we're using this unique ring, Blistering Bond. This allows our fire damage to scale bleeding, instead of
Damn.
physical damage. Our last unique is Barrack's Respite. As said originally, we want a Cyclone, which is a wind skill, and can benefit from elemental ground surfaces. Now, our Cyclone is a fiery vortex. One last thing to note before showcasing our Scourge Walker in action
Blood
is that
Mage
Oro's
Sword's telling me,
Sacrifice
right?
also grants you frenzy charges while at maximum Sacrificial Flame.
Damn.
This will allow us to fold Bloodied Blade into our rotation between Cyclone sessions to get blood-enhanced Cyclone.
Well, this. Wow. Okay.
Alright, now you can see our basic rotation. First, we use Infernal Step a few times. Then, once we have a Frenzy charge, we use Bloodied Blade. This puts us in Blood stance. And then, it's simple. Cyclone away. As you can see, we have the perfect harmony of demonic powers. Blood and fire fill the screen. Honestly though, we need to add some horror and flesh to the build to really embrace the fantasy. For that, let's use this new support gem,
Ooh.
which we will put on our Cyclone. Given we're already bleeding,
Flesh chunks.
this can cause enemies to shed
Interesting.
chunks of flesh when hit, which explode after a short delay.
Bleeding
Check out
build's
this
about to be
ruckus.
OP.
Oh, and while we're at it, let's add even more fire by using the Fan the Flame support. At this point, you can already see how much this is getting out of control. I love it. You may notice we have an excess of frenzy charges. So, you want to throw on Echoing Strikes, which consumes all your frenzy charges to cause our next Cyclone to create a bunch of Cyclones.
What?
Feel free to add
That
Infernal
looks
Cry to the mix, 'cause
broken.
why not? Okay, well it's already pretty damn strong, but we can push it further. What about single target? For that, we're going to make use of our second weapon set, and use a one-hand sword and Targe, which grants parry. However, Instead of using a regular Taj, we're going to use this Runeforged Taj,
Yeah.
which grants us a special
Martial
version
arts
of
on
parry
the skill,
that
right?
maintains its stances when used. So if you are in Blood stance and use it, you will remain in Blood stance afterwards. This includes while using the dashing parry that Jonathan mentioned earlier. We are going to want our parry debuff duration to be as long as possible, so we can spend more time spinning. To get that, we're using another new sword base type. This one adds base duration to parry. We've also then invested into as much
Look at that new
parry
skill
duration
tree,
in this
boys.
weapon set as possible on new passives on the tree. Now, we can make this even better by using a new support that allows our parry to apply armor break. And to get it to benefit from our fire damage, we will anoint the Molten One's gift on our amulet. Now, our armor break causes enemies to take extra fire damage.
Ow.
So now, we just get into Blood stance using Bloodied Blade, use parry, which dashes in, keeping us in Blood stance.
Damn,
then
that
we
damage!
cyclone our way to glory. Don't forget to also use Echoing Strikes once you get enough frenzy charges. I mean, just look at this
Okay, that
damage.
was alright. That was alright damage.
You may have noticed we didn't show any Ascendancy classes. That's right. These builds weren't even Ascended. So
Wow,
their build
okay, never
potential
mind.
goes so much higher.
Never
And
mind.
the Ascendancies are pretty epic. Here's some art to tease them. But to find out more about that, you'll have to check them out when
Shield.
we show them at ExileCon later this year.
So
We hope you
interesting.
enjoyed our duelist demonstration. We're really excited to have you
Alright.
get your hands on it and start slicing and dicing throughout Rayclast.
Warlord, thank you for the follow.
Now,
What's up,
Path of
brother?
Exile 2's full 1.0 launch is later this year on December 11th.
Nah.
But if you just can't wait till then, next week we are doing our 055 update, and it includes a bunch of changes as well as a new event. Given that,
Crusader
it's
could
finally
be.
time to talk about Forbidden Rites.
Forbidden Right
a
event.
new
Okay.
event based on the Ritual League that will be starting with our 055 patch next week. But that's not all. We also have a massive overhaul to the Trial of Chaos, some new in-game Abyss content, and more. So, let's dive straight into it. The King in the Mists and his
Okay, so this is what we're getting.
left
Let's see what it
unchecked,
is.
have spread their influence. By his will, the Nameless have been performing gruesome rituals throughout Rayclast, all the way from the forests of Ogum to the deserts of the Marraketh, and even Exile and the Karui Islands, afflicting everything around them with a foreboding darkness. As you can see, they've been quite successful in their efforts, and if not stopped soon, who knows what will become of Rayclast. During the Forbidden Rites event, your goal is to put an end to their nefarious plans. In each area of the campaign, you'll find a ritual encounter. For
Okay.
those unfamiliar, these are effigies that are guarded by the Nameless and their servants. By defeating them within the ritual site, you can then activate the effigy and fight them again as they are revived by dark magic, all whilst various plagues will try to kill you. Defeating the revived monsters causes their blood to go to the effigy to be used as tribute. After the encounter, use the tribute you earned to acquire rewards. These rituals, unlike their in-game counterparts, will not exclusively reward unique items, and instead will give you a bunch of items useful for leveling, like currency for crafting your gear alongside a bunch of equipment.
Okay.
Ultimately, in every area, you get to kill some monsters and then go on a small shopping spree. However, we know people liked having unique item rewards from Ritual, and we wanted that to still be present in the campaign, but we just couldn't give one out in every single area. Throughout each act, 2 times, and once in each interlude part, you'll see these clusters of more epic ritual effigies on the world map. When you reach these areas, you'll notice that
Okay,
unlike
Warlord,
normal,
you're
the
crawling.
effigies aren't just in a random location in the area,
Origins my
but
favorite.
they're on top of the area's boss fight.
Okay.
By
So the
completing these boss rituals, the boss will then be carried forward and added to
I'm
the
not saying
next
nothing until
ritual
it's
in the
done.
cluster in the next area, where you'll face it as part of an increasingly dangerous series of boss waves. For example, the first
it's like
cluster you'll encounter is shown here,
the
containing large effigies in
End game.
Clearfell, Mudburrow,
juicing you could do
the
with ritual.
Growlwood, and the Grim Tangle. If you complete the ritual in Clearfell, the Hag boss will appear during the ritual in the Mudburrow, alongside the Devourer. Once you've completed that area, the ritual in the Growlwood will include Brambleghast, alongside the Hag and the Devourer. Then, to top it off, when you get to Grimtangle, the ritual in that area will have its boss, the Rotten Druid, and the previous 3, totaling 4 boss fights and 1 epic final showdown.
So it's like the what it's called, the Red of the Nameless
That's
or
where the
whatever.
unique rewards come into play.
That you can super juice
By
ritual
completing
endgame.
these epic boss ritual encounters, you then get to spend your tribute on unique items.
Okay.
Given ritual is the content of the league, we wanted to make sure it worked in multiplayer well. Historically, only the creator of the area gets to spend tribute at the end, while your friends just have to watch. We've made some improvements to this experience. In 055, every party member earns their own tribute and can spend it on their own rewards, so no one has to miss out. In order
That's
to make
good.
it not too rewarding in groups, we've restricted it so party members are unable to reroll the shop and they have fewer options available to choose from. So, that's the campaign and a multiplayer improvement.
Okay.
But what about the endgame? Given that
New
ritual was
ascendancies,
already
please?
available to be added to your maps. Well, once you reach the endgame, you'll still have ritual encounters in every area, and they'll still give unique items and omens, but we've added 1 extra mechanic here to add new difficulty and reward heights to your endgame maps. After completing rituals in endgame, you want to keep an eye out for this item, a Sacred Bloom, which you can spend tribute on to acquire. If you happen to find one, you can then use it and apply an entrance to the Wildwood to an in-game map of your choice on the Atlas. Then,
Okay.
when you enter that map, you'll find this entrance at the start of the area. By entering it, you're sent into the Wildwood. You have limited time here, but while in the Wildwood you can find wisps, and you want to follow the trails of them and collect as many as possible. There are 3 different types of wisps: Primal, Vivid, and Wild. When you then have to exit the Wildwood, the wisps are freed and will spread
is a
across
PoE
the
1
map,
mechanic.
possessing and influencing many monsters. Primal wisps, when freed, can cause normal monsters to become magic monsters. Vivid wisps, when freed, can add additional modifiers to rare monsters. And wild wisps add rarity of items dropped to all monsters. If you're rarely lucky, keep an eye out for these sacred wisps. I wonder what they do. Of course, you can gather all 3 types of wisps if you really want to juice your maps. And by using ritual tablets, you can increase the amount of wisps found while in the Wildwood. Be warned though, while affected monsters drop better items, the wisps also empower them, making them considerably more difficult to defeat. So, that's
Okay.
the Forbidden Rites event. While it isn't a full league in the traditional sense, it gives you the perfect opportunity to start in a fresh economy. For those of you who enjoy having clear goals to work towards, this event league also introduces a new set of 8 challenges.
W.
These include completing the campaign rituals, defeating named rare monsters, reaching level 90, and more. Completing them will earn you 4 exclusive cosmetic rewards and a statue for your hideout to commemorate your success. Swarm your enemies with the Locust Footprints effect, and send your foes scurrying to their demise with the Locust Swarm finisher
Okay.
effect. Fear the dark no longer with your Wildwood Guardian pet at your side,
No new
and
uniques
level up in
or
fashion with the
ascendancies or
Wildwood
anything like
Affliction
that.
level up effect.
That looks cool.
Next, let's talk about the Trial of Chaos. Since Early Access launched, we've received a lot of feedback about the Trial of Chaos. It was just obvious that it wasn't good enough. So we've
they're
gone
still
through
talking
pretty
about
much
stuff.
every part of this trial and made improvements across the board. There's so much to cover here, so let's just fire away with some of the more important changes. Starting with a banger, you can now leave the Trial of Chaos between rooms and resume later at your leisure.
W.
Alongside improving almost every aspect of the encounter types, we've made far more of the rooms just about slaying all the enemies, instead of the more specific objectives like escorting the statue or implanting soul cores. We've increased the size of that pesky elevator and made them more responsive. We've made the doors between rooms open quicker and from further away, We've shortened the distance between rooms to have less running. We've added a lot more inherent scaling to the area and to the Trial of Sekimas too, to account for the lack of Atlas Tree. We've made the Trial Master only time freeze to spawn in all the monsters once at the start of the run, instead of in many of the rooms. On top of that, we have done a full pass on all the modifiers, making them significantly less dangerous at lower tiers, and rising to the same difficulty at their maximum tier. Additionally, all the modifiers now grant bonuses to item rarity too. The modifiers now
Twitch
also
still messed
have
up?
better descriptions,
Yeah, I think Twitch is still messed
being
up.
more explicit about what danger you're signing up for.
Can't even
We've
see
also
like on
added a
Twitch.
new kind of modifier, called a wager modifier.
Oh,
These are meta mods that can significantly increase the danger and reward of your trial. For example, this one increases the tier of every modifier already applied to your run, but in exchange for that, doubles all the currency you've earned so far in the run. There's about a dozen of these, and they have some pretty interesting effects. Sometimes you want to apply them early in the run, other times late. They add a very cool dynamic element to the mod selection between rooms. The
I think
Uxmal,
it's
the
30
Beast Lord
minutes.
boss fight in the Trial of Chaos, has had its
You
arena
get your Twitch
redesigned
drops?
entirely.
Could be wrong though.
Less flying, more attacking. The more significant elite monsters that spawn during the Trial of Chaos are now more dangerous, but more rewarding. Speaking of rewards, you can now also find these chests between each room to get some bonus items for your efforts. And the rewards available when choosing modifiers no longer offer random corrupted items, now exclusively offering only currency items and soul cores.
That's good.
Oh, and we've done a full balance pass on those too, to make them more powerful, alongside
Good.
adding some new ones to the trial and endgame.
Okay.
Speaking of the trial and endgame, for those looking for a greater challenge, you'll no longer need to have to stop after 10 rooms. You can now continue all the way to room 30, with the
What
difficulty and rewards escalating as you progress. Combined with the previously mentioned wager modifiers, the rewards of these runs can get very, very juicy.
4 dibs, 4 dibs.
Reaching these later rooms will also allow you to obtain all 3 Trial Master fragments in a single run, giving skilled players a clear and reliable path towards facing the Trial Master rather than leaving their progress entirely to chance. We've moved the functionality of the wager currency mechanic from magic inscribed ultimatums that could drop from the Trial Master into the base mechanic. This can be accessed at the end of every 10th room. Overall, this is a much
A lot
more
of good
polished
changes.
version of the Trial of Chaos, and we think it addresses many of the concerns players have raised over the past several months. When we introduced the new endgame in Return of the Ancients, we wanted the journey through the fortress to feel epic, and it was. But your first time progressing through it, it is a massive undertaking. With a fresh economy, we wanted to make the fortress easier to complete. So in 055, we're making some changes. After completing the main questline, you can now just venture out of the fortress and find another Arbiter of Divinity key. By defeating this more difficult version of the boss, all remaining sections of the fortress will be automatically completed.
Damn.
Now, onwards to Abyss. We're introducing a new Atlas feature centered around it. We wanted to add more things to find when exploring the Infinite Atlas. So, we've added these new abyssal ravines that can appear. Each map on the ravines has abysses in it, and as you complete each along it, the next map gets more and more rewarding as you push the Abyssal Legion back. When you reach the last map on the ravine, you'll have a guaranteed Abyssal boss encounter. The Forbidden Rites event will not have Runes of Aldo content in each area. But fret not. Pharaoh, Danig, and Expedition content is still going to be available in the Atlas as core, and that includes standard leagues.
Okay.
You can now continue to find expeditions in-game, but from Act 4 onwards. In the endgame, expedition tablets will now be available, allowing for some new levels of investment into the league. Such as having 2 full expeditions in
The
just
heck
one
is
area,
that? What?
alongside up to 2
was that supposed to
standalone
be
remnant
overlapped?
encounters.
I thought
With
it's supposed to be
tablet
overlap.
mods, you can now
Maybe?
even get many sentries per expedition, resembling an almost sentry minion build, as you run around and apply runic modifiers to monsters across the maps. The existing Runes of Eldar League will continue to run, so if you want to keep playing there, finishing your endgame and completing challenges, feel free to do so.
These swords got confirmed yesterday, or 25th
055 update.
at the release, but yeah, they should have crapped on with some endgame builds. Looks so good.
Here's a reminder to check out our supporter packs and mystery box that release with it, which are now fully available for use in Path of Exile 2 as well. These include the Plague and Remedis supporter packs,
Okay.
and the Curse of the Allflame mystery box, with some epic items including armor sets, weapon skins, weapon effects, map devices, hideouts, a new tracking scroll, some otters, and much more. If you would like to purchase the Curse of the Allflame mystery box, it's available now through the in-game shop and Path of Exile 2 website. For more information, head to pathofexile2.com/mystery box for all the details. We'll also be releasing some cool new armor sets and skill effects alongside this release. Check these out. If you're interested, keep an eye out on the store with the new release. Thanks for your support. Now, we had originally thought we were going to deploy a much larger balance pass in this patch. But unfortunately, with all the other work going on for our 1.0 release, we were not able to get these changes ready in time. It's been a lot more work than we expected. So rather than deploy something substandard, we decided it would be better to take our time with the balance changes and just release the Event League anyway. All those balance changes that were slated for 055 will now be happening in 1.0 instead. The full release patch is shaping up to be a huge one, and if you haven't done so yet, you can acquire exclusive milestone rewards just by signing up at pathofexile2.com for the 1.0 full release.
So no bounces,
Also,
no changes.
We hope you join us for ExileCon on November 7th New Zealand time to see what else we've been cooking up.
Yeah,
In
basically
the meantime,
epic.
We hope
Like
you
Ice
enjoy
Shot
the
/
Forbidden
Twister.
Rites event,
I mean,
which starts
just
at the
pick
end
something
of
that
next
was
week.
kind of strong,
See you in
that you had fun
Raid
with.
Class. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D, so get your questions ready.
Okay, well, that was kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. So what we have is like new chaos stuff. Obviously the ritual looks cool, that it's in each act. I mean, I was kind of hoping for more, like bounces, some new unique items, and maybe 1 or 2 new ascendancy classes, something. But doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of new stuff. I mean, definitely enough probably for like a few weeks of playing, but that's about it. I'll have to look into what I want to go for. I'm not really too sure, to be honest. Maybe bow, because I don't think I want to do Twister again. I'll have to look into caster stuff to see if anything really is good. Or not good, but you know, speaks to me. I don't want to do Spark. I'm not really too sure what other caster builds there are, to be honest with you. I know they said they weren't going to do anything huge, but I expected at least some new unique items to play with. So to... I'll have this play in the background while I talk.
Folks.
So to this new event league, if you wanted to play in it, then yeah, you'd have to create a new character, because it's basically like a new economy, right? Like a new league.
It's really good to see players just being able to play and experience the game. It's
But
always
you can
fun.
still keep playing in the
But,
existing,
my voice is
you know,
actually
Rules of
screwed
Calgary
right
League
now
if you
because
want
I keep
to.
kind of yelling
all
over
that
the
stuff.
loudness of the game's
But yeah, if you want to do like the new ritual event league, forget the exact name they had for it, then you would have to create a new character and start over from scratch.
Yeah, it's always fun.
To be honest, we got more than just a reset and a few balance changes is nice.
Yeah, have you been able to get some like?
I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, man, but I definitely thought they would have nerfed at least like Twister and Ice Shot and buff some skills at the minimum, right? So this way we could potentially have a new shakeup and stuff to play. But yeah, I'm not really too sure what I'll play. I mean, obviously 1.0 looks amazing. The new class, right? The new sword, everything looks really good there. Like, I wish we had that. It looks so freaking good. And the fact that they did that without even showing ascendancy classes with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was no builds that they showed that was ascended, which was insane, because the damage they were doing were still pretty damn good. I don't think is this up on YouTube yet, chat, that we could like go back real quick and look at the images for the Ascendancy for sword, the list that they kind of teased? Are they streaming right now? No, they're not. Hold on, they might have. There we go. We can go back here real quick and look. There we go. So these are the two shown Ascendancy classes. We don't obviously know what they are, but I saw Maya Gimling on Runes of Alder and Fake for the remake for the event. True. 2K divs to min-max or something? Yeah, I mean, for sure. I was waiting for big stuff, but unfortunately, I mean, it's a mid league, so you know, I didn't expect that much, but I expected like some balance changes. Sucks that we didn't get those. Yeah, I mean, you could do summon hunters stuff. I honestly don't like minion builds, so I'm not gonna do anything minion related or companion related. I don't really like those builds at all. So yeah, so let's take a look at these two real quick. So the one on the right, I mean, is there really anything other than Paladin for the one on the right with like the literally holy glowing sword? I honestly thought maybe that would be a Templar Ascendancy, but I mean, I think that's pretty much it, right? I don't think it would be Gladiator. I mean, the way that he's standing, the way that the sword's glowing, like with like holy light. I mean, I think it's Paladin, right? At least it looks like it. I don't know what else it would be. The one on the left looks interesting because the dude looks like he has a whole arsenal, bro. He has one sword in his hand, like two on his right, like his left hip here. He has more on his right hip, spear in the back, it looks like, with bow. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell is this guy gonna give? This dude looks like he's using everything in the kitchen. I have no clue what this would be. But yeah, that was cool. I don't think we also got to see. Yeah, some of these unique swords look dope. Where they showed this right here. These unique swords look insane. I would assume this one right here, the like curved, like kind of like purple sword, I would assume that was the one that we've seen that had that like Boyd's kind of like dash attack. That's what I would assume this one was related to. This one we've already seen. This one might have the Count Geonor skill on it, because they've shown that in the trailer, obviously. And obviously the other ones we don't know. Like this one, this gigantic one. Not really too sure what any of these, you know, are. Is there any more in here that we might see from PoE 1 making a comeback? Nah, okay. Go back to the Q&A real quick.
See of a sword, and there's like quite a few different ones, right? So you know, you have to go through.
We don't
But I
get
think
swords
the kind
next
of, like,
week.
thing
No,
with
swords are
Cloud
not
Wars
coming
is
until
that
1.0, which
swords
is
about, like, the kind of that flow feeling.
is it December 11th, chat?
And,
Is the
that's what I
PoE
kind of wanted
2?
to nail, and that's where the whole sort of Renaissance thing kind of came from.
I think
So
December
it took a
11th,
lot
right,
of
is
iteration to get
PoE
there. I went through
1.0
so many different
release.
designs
Yeah,
of,
December
the
11th.
way
So
the
we're not
swords
getting
would
swords
work.
until December
And
11th.
eventually
What
it's
we're
funny
getting
because,
next
the
week
whole Blood and Sand thing
is,
wasn't
yeah,
even
no,
part of
Twitch
the
is just
original
messed up
design.
because of
And
GTA.
at some point I
GTA like
realized
screwed
that
Twitch.
some of the stuff that we were designing was coming kind of close to that. And I'm like,
So
well,
what we're getting next
in
week
PoE 1 we've got this Blood and Sand theme.
is,
What if we actually
let
took
me
that
see
and
if
like
they
we
actually
used
put
that
out,
theme on top of some of the
yeah, they put
mechanics
out
we
the
were
forum.
designing?
Here we go.
And then it all kind
This
of
is what
really
we're getting.
rapidly came together.
This is the
after that,
Forbidden
and suddenly
Rights event,
realized, like,
right?
yeah, this is
This is what we're getting next week. So you're getting Forbidden Rights in the campaign, which is just like ritual, basically. You're gonna have some ritual stuff that you can go ahead and do throughout the campaign that'll give you like gear, some currency for crafting. They have added the mechanic to, if you guys have done the end game ritual where you can like juice them to where it'll be at the end boss of a map, and that boss will keep going and reappearing as you continue to do maps, and you can do, you know, like 8 bosses or whatever, right? That'll keep resummoning as you do the last one if you clear them. They're kind of doing that mechanic through the campaign that'll give you unique items. and I think they showed it's like 4 bosses is the max basically, and they're placed in specific areas throughout each act. So that's cool. There's new Wildwood encounters, which is like PoE 1's wisp, where you go in, right? You collect them, you come out. It basically inhabits the whole map and juices them with like, you know, additional rewards, increased rarity, stuff like that. Child Cast rework, new endgame soul cores, abyssal ravines. Looks pretty interesting. Just like more juice if you want to do abyss stuff. Faster fortress completion, runes of outer to core, and then new tablet type expedition. That's pretty much the full event. No balance changes, no new ascendancies, no new, you know, unique items. This is what you're going to be able to do next week. And then new challenges as well, that you can get new cosmetics in the new Forbidden Rites event. Are your messages getting eaten? Yeah, I think Twitch is messed up. So if you guys watch it on Twitch and you're putting messages that aren't coming through, just go over to YouTube. I think GTA really messed up Twitch right now, because literally I can't even see like anything right now. I don't even know what's going on with Twitch. Everything is absolutely barked on Twitch right now.
Don't worry, Shaq. The general gives.
Let me actually pull YouTube up. There we go. Why Switch broken? GTA had their stream on Twitch and had like 2 million plus people watching it, and it just messed everything up with their servers. So yeah, so this is, I mean, I expected a little bit more with balance changes for what we're getting, but this is kind of right in line with what I expected. I didn't think we're getting anything huge, but like, again, I did expect some balance changes or something like that. It kind of sucks we didn't get those, but it's understandable with 1.0 and them working on so much stuff that, you know, they just didn't have time to work on the balance changes for 0.5, but is what it is. Obviously, if you guys want to look at this, I will go ahead and put this in there for you guys. This gives a breakdown of like everything that's coming. You can look at the Duelist preview and all that as well. I'll put this back on while we just chat.
How has parry changed or been improved here, and also how like mandatory is it for the duelist playstyle there?
Well, certainly we didn't want it to be mandatory because
I have no clue when the next build is, Kaka. I'm gonna have to look in really deep dive, because right now I have no clue off the top of my head what I want to play. I was kind of hoping for balance changes, so this way I could look into, you know, what
types to involve that. But at the same time,
what I'm going to be going into with like, you know, what's being buffed and stuff, and play a new skill. But since there's no balance changes, I'm kind of clueless right now what I want to do.
And it's a little bit complicated to explain as well. But effectively, what
Never played ED Mage? True. I've never done that.
Your character is effectively
ED is interesting. I think it's still good.
Skills that are parryable.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I would want to do. I'm not too sure.
You kind of have this problem before where you'd feel like you would try to parry something, and it looked like the monster would kind of hit you, but it just didn't. And that was happening all the time, and like one of the frustrating things about parry. So what we've done is now that we've made this change, it means that monsters hit you much more reliably when you're parrying.
Not really too sure what I'm going to be playing.
But the other issue that we had as well is just boss fights.
I think I know my build if I get to endgame fast enough. What build would that be, Epic?
And that's where the shield thing comes in. We can do the shield bash to allow you to parry
like monk stuff
when they're not attacking you. So that one's kind of like it also can be used during clearing as well. But I sort of saw that as the boss fight problem.
I could see that, Martin. It definitely is kind of frustrating that we didn't get balance changes at the very minimum. But I kind of give them a pass for it, because 1.0 is such a huge thing. You know, that they got to look at like the new class, look at the new stuff for that, balance it, the new axe. Obviously, play test, make sure there's no bugs and the stuff's smooth and it's not, you know, Act 3 all over again when it first released, you know what I'm saying, and other stuff. So, I mean, I kind of get it. But yeah, it is unfortunate that
explain to people though, because
we didn't get what they said we were going to get for this update.
An extra thing on your native skill that you've got. Like,
you know, it'd be interesting for BA too. Whips.
You know, normally
that would be interesting. Yeah.
For like,
maybe prep for some blood love in 1.0. I mean, I could do some sort of bleed build. I'm not. Well, I mean, what bleed builds are there? I know there's like bleed snipe, right, that you can do. But what other bleed builds are there right now in PoE?
Hopefully that'll slowly make its way through the community.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because like I didn't even know about that.
It's like obviously actually good.
A couple more parry things there for a bit later as well. We have a not that I'm trying to spoil everything. We have a new reservation skill called codenamed Arcane Parry right now, which is effectively
There's a
charges
poison
up,
bleed
and then when
Nova.
you parry it,
I haven't heard of
more
that.
significant shockwave comes out of you, just to like allow for a lot more.
Because obviously, if I'm playing a
area of
bleed
effect
build, I
power.
want to
That's-
be
yes,
able
and
for it to do all
that
content,
means
right?
that all those monsters get parried as well, by the way. So the point of this
Poison
is
bleed
to
Nova
make so
Huntress.
that, like we had this
I'll
thing
take a look
before
into
where
that.
there was a period there
After
where
stream
parry was,
today.
like, it had a really huge range, and it was good for endgame, and but we didn't really like
chain
that it
build
was so
from
non-visible.
0-4?
So by adding like this kind of like effect
Chain
to it
build,
and actually making it into a mechanic that you can do with a
Why they
with
said that it
swords
would be a
and
big balance magic setter when the
now
unique
it becomes a
ascendancies,
thing that
etc.
we
And I'm
can much more
curious
readily
how they're
accept
making
as a
it
good
to open up.
way to
Well, I
actually
don't
make
think they
parry
said that we're
viable
getting new
as well,
ascendancies and stuff.
which means we definitely have
What I
a lot
remember them
parry.
saying is this would be more of a balance
And,
patch
Fix where
for
you're
0.5.5, with
or is it
some
the
new
one
additional
that
stuff.
duelist chain?
Technically, we
It's
did get new
probably
additional
one of the
stuff,
lower
right, with like
patches.
reworks to
Pretty
the
sure.
cast trials. You know, the
Yeah,
Wild
we-
Wisp stuff
we
is
also
new,
have a,
new Soul Cores, so we did get new stuff. It's
other
just
unique
unfortunate we didn't
helmet
get the bounce
coming,
patches.
which causes your war cries to parry enemies,
What?
and then in the
Damn.
full radius. And we also have we're currently trying.
But yeah, I'm
hoping to
not
get
too
this
sure. I have
going,
to
just
look
so that if
into
people want to play
that.
two-handed sword and want to still engage with it. We're trying a two-handed sword base type that grants parry, and you can parry with that. So that'll be a very specific.
Ooh.
Did they give a
Base type
date though of
excited
when
about
that's
that.
dropping, chat?
Base
That's
type work.
definitely.
They just said next week, but like
I was
what time
definitely,
next
a little
week,
sad to
right?
see that you couldn't parry with the two-handed.
Play the Forbidden
I
Rights
kinda get
event.
not
Boom,
wanting them
boom,
all to be the same,
boom.
so having the differences there, because so you can parry with the dual wield swords, which is obviously a unique thing to swords. And you can parry with the buckler or the armor evasion shield.
Yeah,
bases
I
from,
don't.
like,
Hold on, maybe down here.
the other
The
ones
Forbidden
as well,
Right
so
and Pan
build
0.5
over
next
there,
week,
but that lets you get
September 4th.
two-handed sword parry.
PDT.
Cool. I mean, it does make
September
make more work, so
4th.
that means even more animations, right? You have to make a two-handed parry.
Okay,
animation
what
now.
day is
Sure.
September 4th? Is
Just
that
for that.
Thursday again?
You know, it's fine.
That is Friday. So next
Fine.
Friday. This
I was
this
gonna ask
upcoming,
about the
yeah.
animations,
Well,
actually,
not
because
this
these are
upcoming,
some
next
of
Friday.
the
Yeah.
cool
Okay, so
animations
September
I've seen
4th
so far, and also just
is
in
when
general, like, the
0.5.5 will be
coolest
out.
sword animations I've seen in any game.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look
yeah,
into see what
real
we're
kinda,
doing.
like,
I
look
kind of want to do
at
something new, but
aspects to
again, I'm
some of
not
the
too sure
movements. Like,
what.
obviously, it's over the top, like giant sword slams and stuff.
Maybe
But
I'm
some of the, like,
just make
movements
something
in,
to
like,
bring
say, the
cash out
Cyclone,
level
where
90.
the swords twist around and the swords
Yeah, you
handle and
could,
stuff like that.
Christopher.
I'm like, oh, someone knows.
Does
sword
Spearfield use
stuff
bleed?
on your team.
He does
Spearfield, I think, can
He does a
bleed.
phenomenal job, not only of the animation itself, but also just researching stuff. And I actually had someone at Gamescom,
Yeah,
like a
you were
journalist, say
spot
to
on
me
right that
that
epic.
they actually know how to, they've used a sword and done some blade practice. And the first thing he said to me was, oh, like, did you like hire anyone to like advise about this? And it's like, no, one of our animators just really interested in this stuff. And what they do is he's got like a weighted sort of weighted plastic blade that he's got in the studio, and he can film video reference of himself like doing things and sort of get some of that to get video of it that he can use to kind of work out how to do the movements. But he's just really interested in all of this kind of stuff, and he does a lot of research, like watching YouTube videos of actual people like doing this stuff, and it's resulted in like just a really amazing looking set of animations. Like honestly some of the best animation work we've done.
Yeah, I would have believed if you had said like, oh yeah, we had some Hebo guy came in, we mocapped them or something. So that's really impressive work. So some great stuff. Yeah, it looks super wicked. But at the same time, like, you've also not been afraid to go a bit over the top there. One of the press images with a gigantic anime.
Yeah. I mean,
sword.
there has to be some level of anime inspiration if you're talking about swords for certain things. Like as I said before, like everyone's got different fantasies about what being a swordsman means, and the sort of anime sword thing is definitely one of those. So we kind of had to have it.
Yeah, you've tried to touch on all of those. You definitely got that dash in kind of nothing personal anime thing where they slice and then fall apart afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure if we would show that in the video really, but we actually have some new tech now where all of the monsters are capable of being sliced into pieces. So it actually works like all the monsters are being like split up, and then we can. It's actually a mechanic. You know what? Actually, one of the in-game builds had it, didn't it? Where you slice monsters up. And then we've even got mechanics to take advantage of that, like the one that makes so that some of the chunks explode.
Sorry.
Yeah,
go to decent bleed Amazon. If you want inspiration, I could take a look at that.
An actual game mechanic as well now, so that's kind of interesting too.
I had
Break or Bloodhunt build.
Meat chunks on bleed.
Maybe.
Meat chunks.
Let's pick a skill for gemmling and max something. It's an event you make it
but I didn't have the meat chunks on.
That's my current idea. Yeah, I mean, I could do like gemmling ice shot or something, right?
That's a different build.
Because I mean, I haven't played ice shot this whole league,
All up, I know that this has
But
been a pretty
I don't know.
challenging class to showcase, and it's
I'm
something
not
we
too
said
sure,
in the
honestly.
play bit, how you wanted to like
I'm
show,
just trying to think.
you know, the campaign and the end game. And I think like having both of those here in this showcase has been really good for people, so they can see and have like kind of like that full picture. Obviously, one of the slower technical stuff to show like how the animations work, how the interactions work, and then you wanted the end game to show like what people can aspire to. But how well do you think overall that you've been managed to communicate the duelist here? Because I do feel like it's a hard thing to nail down without actually playing it.
Mostly because, like, you know, you can see the fluidity, sort of. You don't really know how it
40%
feels.
reduce
So,
MS
and also, I
penalty.
think one of the reasons why
For
I was so
gambling.
keen to demonstrate
Snipe is
it at
more
Gamescom
is the
so
more
other
interesting
people
one.
get to
You
have
know, I did see a snipe from I think
and,
DS
yeah,
Lily that
honestly,
was
it's been
might
really
have been
good
on
for a lot of
Gemling.
people really
It was
enjoyed
like
it.
spam snipe or
So I
something
think
like that for
I
AoE
think I
clearing.
was a little bit worried, right?
But
Because
I don't know.
like I was worried, like, will people understand ready stance and so on? And we were so worried about it. We're like, okay, we need to have some like signs up that
I'll definitely have to
explain ready
look at
stance. We need to make
something.
sure
I'm
there's a
not really
tutorial
too
in the
sure what I want to
Gamescom
do.
build that we've got for this, just for that to make sure it works. And if all else
I'll
fails, we've
definitely
got
have to take a
that we
look
can
at
just
like
walk around and tell people
you
they're
know,
not doing it.
other builds
So,
from other creators, try to see if
just
there's any
really certain
inspiration.
that
Legend.
everyone understands the
I mean, I
mechanics.
would
And
love to do a new
yeah, like, honestly,
skill, right, or a
you see
skill
it,
that
once you see
hasn't
it on
been
flow,
played that
it
much.
totally makes sense. And honestly, even
If
like
I'm
some of the
honest,
design
but I
reading
mean,
and
without like
just like
balance
sitting there, just
changes and
like doing
stuff,
ready stance attacks. I'm like, oh, like I'll sometimes
it's kind of
just like
hard to
lose
know.
track of time just sitting there like doing it. It's just so fun to actually do. Yeah, I really enjoy that
If
part.
it's worth putting time into, you know.
So those endgame builds look very spicy. I know a fear was that like some people would feel that swords were too weak or too slow because you were showing just that early campaign side of things.
Yeah.
But if anything, after seeing like those endgame builds, I'm wondering like almost the opposite.
You
As,
care to
like,
share
is there
Epic,
a
or are you
risk here
keeping
that
it
like
close
the
to heart?
endgame power level of players has just become so high that opportunities to enjoy some of that deeper gameplay is becoming like too far and like too few and far between?
It is a potential concern for sure. Balance will be tricky, I suspect, to get right.
Well,
You know, all those things you saw are like the current balance, but maybe Mark, you've got some more theories about that.
the
Would you be willing, you
those,
know, like
those
shoot it
builds
to a
where
good
they were getting
friend, you know,
filmed, I was like,
wink
they're
wink,
just too strong. They're
wink
too
wink.
strong. And I think even Jonathan,
I
you had
totally
some
will make a
feedback
video
like,
on it, wink wink.
just
Wink
make them a
wink.
little
That's
bit
it.
weaker. Like you don't need to one hit literally everything.
It's an event
And
league, Epic.
I was
Come
like,
on, man.
we're already filming these in tier 25 map equivalents with like
I'm joking. I'm
yeah,
joking.
I know. There was a problem at one point like that.
it's
Yeah.
unassended. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But yeah, they're just there's some obviously though we're like putting together a class for demonstration purposes for like a convention and to put together these builds. Like obviously we still have some more work to do with respect to that balance kind of side of things, but it's definitely very very powerful right now. Some of that dust has to calm down, but that's okay. You know, we'll get there. These things take a lot of time to iterate on, and of course, we have till December 11th to do that. So I'm not concerned about the amount of time. In fact, we've never had a class this ready with this much time, so that's a good thing. But yeah, it means we can make even more builds, get even more ready, have the balance be ideally in the best spot.
And I need
Hopefully
job
play
price
more
just in my
very-
uniques is crazy
We'll
work.
see, but
Yeah, I'm going gearless
definitely,
punch build. Imagine
I would
Gemling
say
punch.
right now it is too OP for sure. Like, it's. I mean, I've played through the campaign a whole bunch of times on it, and I'm just like, you know, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be this powerful. Like comparatively
Oh,
with
there you go.
everything else.
Sword
Like, I
nerf
get that
incoming.
people at Gamescom might not have the
My
same
boy Mark
kind
already
of
said it's too
because
broken.
like that's you're
Too
starting in
strong.
Act 5. You're on a pre-made
Swords is too strong
character.
in the game right
What
now.
does the gear even like?
Yeah, if you DM
It's
me
like not
the
just
idea,
super
I
helpful
promise I
fights
won't
and all
share
that.
it.
So you know, people there probably have a different
That
experience. But
is he troll?
you know, what
Nah, I
you see is
won't. I
very
won't
strong.
say anything about it.
And that is filmed in. I understand tier 25 map. What does that mean? We have obviously we can just set the levels of any area. That is a tier 25 map equivalent of filming for those end game builds. So yes, there are some power concerns, but it's again with this much time, it should be pretty easy to deal with it. It's nothing new really.
Yeah, I mean, so this is like
Is there
very early
anywhere
view,
that
you know,
like
showcase glass,
I
so
can look at
getting that
these
hands-on in the
skills
public gives you
Epic
lots of time to make those
that
tweaks
is
and
better than
see all those
this?
points that people are like, oh, people
Right?
keep missing
Because
this
like
detail. It's like,
I guess I could
going around
log in
being like,
game
oh,
and
you
look
can do
at
that,
them,
you
but
can do
like
that.
you know what I'm saying?
You'll get to kind of learn where those pain
It's like kind of
points
annoying looking
potentially
at
are.
stuff here.
Mark, I noticed a
This is I think
bejeweled
PoE
implicit
1.
on Oro's sacrifice. What's
It's
what
PoE2DB,
does
but
that
you know what I'm
mean?
saying?
Yeah.
Could
Well,
log
okay.
in, I
I've
guess.
mentioned a few cool base types. So we just to clarify, there was the two-handed sword with readied stance. No, sorry, with parry, right? And these are base
Yeah.
types. So we've put a lot of
Oh.
effort into making the
There's
base
Ice
types of
Shot,
swords
Spectral
real
Throw.
light
That's not in the game.
And honestly, I
But
wanted
even
them
on PoE
propagated to every
2,
other weapon type,
am I
to be
bugging here?
honest.
This is nice. This is PoE 1.
So we've
Go to
got,
PoE 2.
just to clarify before we get to Bejeweled, we've had
Sorry.
parry two-handed sword. We showed a base parry duration one-handed sword. What was the other one we showed two-hander? There was the
Is
buried
Twitch
blades
still
are
messed
ancestrally
up? It
boosted.
is.
We
Jesus,
showed in the
Twitch.
video. And then
So-
Oro Sacrifice has Bejeweled, which is the
I was looking at
base
your
type
Twister builds,
property
maybe
of
for
the Twilight Talon sword, I
0.5.5.
believe
Funnily
it's
enough, you're
called.
live. Interesting. There's no
And,
battle changes, huh?
yeah,
Yeah, Bunder. It's very
that
interesting.
item
That's
comes
what
with a
I'm
dual socket
currently
instead
looking
of regular
for right
sockets.
now. Is what I'm
So
doing because
it,
obviously I could just play
it's not
Twisters. We know
necessarily
Twisters is
better,
broken. Okay, this
but it's
this
sort
messed
of
up. There we go.
interesting, and it's
We
trying to
know
just create a
Twisters
bunch
is
of
going to be
different things
super
with all the different
strong. Ice
base
Shot's
types
going to be
where,
super strong.
you
You know what I'm
know,
saying? I'm not
that
really
whole
too sure what I
suite
want
of
to play
them
right
that
now.
will drop it in game.
I kind of want to play something that's
So
not
currently, like a lot
Twisters
of
since I
weapons,
literally
you
played
probably
that
get
all
like 5
last
base
league.
types at end game,
Or
maybe
all
6.
0.5,
Pretty
right?
much the
But
entire
I'm not too
sword
sure what I
line
want to play.
will have
It's
a
different.
end game counterpart with all the implicits, just because we've put a lot of cool stuff there. And you do still have your traditional, here's the one that's high
Yeah.
attack speed, here's the one that's
Well,
got
while
some
he's
crit,
doing
here's
that,
the
we'll
one
look at
that's just the
these.
bonk damage and all of that.
There's a way
And then
to
all the others we've
throw
tried
these
to
on
make sure
like
have really
what I
special
want, right?
implicits,
Projectile.
and
There we
that
go.
includes the base type of Oro Sacrifice. So, yeah.
Maybe we could do
Hopefully
poison
people enjoy it. I think
though,
it's
but
cool. But
I feel like
I
it's just
definitely was
why
pretty
not just
excited
do
about
Ice Shot
it.
if
And
we're doing
honestly, I
that.
find now the base type itself like has some build enabling properties, which I would say hasn't really happened before. So
Honestly, can
I'm
we get a
excited to
rework on
see
Rain of Arrows,
having that
please?
extra axis
Can
of
we
like,
just
damn,
rework that
what
back to
sword do I
PoE
even wanna
1's Rain of
use? There's like
Arrows?
3 or 4
So this way
options
it's
here.
a
I don't
really
know
good
what to do.
usable skill and not just a throwaway trash.
I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Same
I
thing
love
with
these
like
bases
Tornado
with
Shot,
unmuted
please.
implicits that do interesting things like that. So I hope that is something you propagate out to the rest of the game there. Love it. Let's talk about what's coming up in the nearer future for people to get their hands on with. But first, you did mention that
My first
you were hoping
0.5,
originally to
I
get a
only
big
played
bounce
Earth Shadow
pass in
Titan, Plant
0.5
Oracle, so I'm looking for something a bit more meta to
in the lead
try.
up to launch.
Would you recommend
but
Twisters? I know it's a bit
that's
more mechanically
the bulk of that at
complicated,
least has
aka
been
not one
pushed
button.
until launch. Is there some
I
stuff
played
that
it,
you feel
you
like
know,
people
Lee
wanna
started
get in
it. I
before
thought
then,
it was
or is there
very,
anything that
very
you do wanna get into 0.5
enjoyable. It was
potentially?
very smooth. Like you said, it does take a few
Want to,
buttons to
and
do your
realistically
combos, but
possible
the
are
damage
the
is
two
there.
things that are
And
at
once you
clash
learn
here.
it, I
I
mean,
wanted to
you're
get
literally
all of it in.
destroying bosses within
Um,
seconds. You know, you're clearing
It
maps
just wasn't
like
coming
within
together in a way that wasn't just
30,
going
40
to.
seconds. You know, you're going on the next one
Like,
once
the
you
things
get
with this
juiced.
is you
Like it's
can't like
pretty fast, it's very
half-ass it and
zoomy.
deploy it. If
So I would
you
recommend it for sure.
remove all of X and don't do all of Y, it's just like, okay, why did you just remove all of that? I don't
If only
understand.
we had
And we weren't just
like
able to
Soul. I mean, Soul
bring
Ring's
those
not good,
packages of
right?
changes
Chat, it's not
together.
only on.
Especially while
Soul
we've
Ring's not in
got
the
a
game,
whole new
right?
class in development, getting fully balanced and prepared. And that made it even
I would love to
twice
do
as
Soul
hard
Ring build, but I
because,
don't think
as
it's in the
Jonathan's
game,
mentioned in the
right?
past, and we've talked about, every single time we make a new class,
It's not
we
only
end
on
up
a
changing
weapon,
every
like a
part
wand.
system under the sun. And then we want some of those in and some of those not in, and it was just this giant ruckus of, it's like a kind of just massive.
Yeah, Twisters will be really good for the new
changes
event.
everywhere, and it was so hard.
Literally
Until
just
horror.
merging the changes. Literally just merging the changes was a disaster. Like just like picking the things, like the commits, like do these guns go in, do those ones not go in? Like we're in the middle of doing like a massive bleed revamp in order to do the duelist, and yet we also want to try to somehow like what parts of that need to go in and what parts don't.
Make a
Like,
reap
it's
build.
just like such a
Well, I don't even know how good
crazy
reap is,
puzzle.
but then it also
And,
it's like
we're
only
at the
one
point
item you
where
could have it
literally,
on,
like, our
right?
producers were like,
It's
we
only
don't
the
know if we
one
can make a build of
staff
this.
or whatever you want to
Like,
call it.
we've got a bunch of
That's the only
changes. We
issue.
don't think
We
we
wouldn't be able to play
create
that for a
build
while.
that works in the timeline that we need it to be. So yeah, it was
Yeah,
challenging
specific
on that
staff.
level. But not only that, there was the issue of just like more changes were needed, like more things needed to actually happen as well.
For example, to support echoing strikes, we had to
Like I would
make
love to
it,
do a
we
Soul Run, but
effectively
again, I think
refactored our
okay,
entire cloning system.
but
which kind of
again, I don't
touched on
think you can
every
really do
single skill
that.
in the game. And it's like, okay, well, we don't want that.
I mean, there's
because
Frost
it's, A,
Arch technically.
untested,
You
it
could
has
do
a bunch of
Frost Arch gemling, right?
ramifications,
Isn't that a
and
thing?
stuff we still need to iterate on. Yet now, any change,
Blood Mage Reap was fun. Swing boss dead.
any change we have to make
True.
to every single skill now has a conflict when we're trying to merge it to the actual build, and honestly, it was just turning into an absolute disaster. And it was like, okay, this just isn't gonna be ready, and we're just gonna have to keep
Frost
delaying
Arch
it.
Sword.
And to the
Yeah,
point where, like,
I
what are
think
we even gonna get here?
what I'm thinking of is just
yeah, it just
Frostar
wasn't
gem
really
link. I think
feasible,
there was a
honestly,
build
and
out
it
there
was
that I seen. It
causing
was like
us.
bouncing
I
the
mean, honestly, I'll
projectiles,
say
and it
that
was just
working around all of that
shooting
was
like,
making
you know,
everything take
a crap ton
significantly
a
longer.
second. It looked pretty
And
cool.
then all of a sudden, now we're getting less
But
done
now
because
here
we're
is a
having to work
thought
around that.
I
and
was
it just
thinking
not
of
coming together. And
doing werewolf
it is
shenanigans again.
sad.
I haven't
I
played
am real
werewolf
gutted
since
about
it dropped,
because
and I
there's
know
a
that was pretty
lot
good.
of like real
I don't know
cool
how the
stuff
clearing
there.
would be on it
We
anymore
have
though, and how the
ascendancy
nerfs,
class
because they did
reworks.
nerf
We
a
have,
bit of like lunar
you know,
blessing and all that.
many new uniques, reworked
I
uniques.
could
We
do
have
wolf
just stuff
shenanigans.
everywhere, and I was like,
I wonder how
man, this
wolf
stuff is cool.
gemling
And I
would
was
be.
even
What
just
is wolf
describing
gemling
it
do?
all to Jonathan and how
Does it
excited
tell you
I
what
was
alternate
about it. And I was
quality
like,
does
no,
with
I
gemling?
want it all in there, but it just
Wait.
honestly wasn't production wise feasible at all. So
With it,
it's sad.
with it,
but
go ahead.
There's
It is
additional
4.0
personal
though, so that's
quality.
always good.
Yeah, it's just penetrates cold res. I
Yeah, I
guess
was gonna
that
say,
would
with
be
it
it.
being such like a eldritch horror of
Right. I don't think it's
interconnected
anything
balance changes there.
article.
Are you
Just
worried about putting
to
out at
not
1.0
count
then?
empowered
Because that was like
attacks.
No,
that was the
no,
thing.
because the difference is that well,
Cross
when we're making like
slash.
an 055 patch, what we're doing is we're taking changes from our kind of like
Where
development
it's
version
40%
when
physical
version
damage to
run. But
cold.
when we're going to make a new entirely new
Lunar
release,
blessing.
that's what's called a retag. We effectively like
Increased
take
cooldown recovery
everything that
rate.
we have on our development version, and it's all going to go live. So there's not like this kind of same production hell that you get when you're trying to like make a build out of parts from
I think
the
he means
development
from.
version.
Some people make a shred
I
bosses
think he means
being
from the
DPS playing wolf.
testability
Got
sake,
you.
maybe.
I
or-
might do
I'm
something
sure, I
like
guess
that.
so. I mean, yeah, but there's
Right
always
now, I'm
that,
either
but,
thinking
I
bow,
mean, 1.0 is going to get a hell of a lot of
like
testing.
ice shot,
You know, and
maybe
obviously,
spiral
there's a lot of
volley,
stuff to do there. So
wolf.
our QA
Those
team
three
will
right
do
now are my
We
like
got more
potential.
time now to make sure.
Because
it
I'm not
runs
really
as
too sure
well.
what else.
So
Like I would love to do like coiling bolts, right? Stuff like that
Since most
off
of
the new
balance
wand.
changes are being
But
deferred to
obviously, it requires you
1.0,
actually running the new
I won't,
wand
like, dive
and
into
getting
the
it. So then it's
balance-related
kind of like,
questions
what
at
are you
this
going to do
point, since it's
till that
still
point?
obviously quite a ways away.
I wish Fireball
But
was
one of the things
good.
we did discuss was the plus levels side of things, and that
I wish you
is
could do
probably the one
Fireball,
that came
but
up the
Fireball's
most.
I don't think good, right,
And I
chat?
know you guys said in the past that you were reviewing some changes in 0.5
Like Fireball Ignite,
from
I
that
don't
to see
think's
how
a
that
thing,
they
correct?
landed. But it does seem like plus levels are still seen as quite a bit of a problem, crowding out uniques and increasing
These
availability in some
server plus
cases as
Nova,
well with
etc.
some of
setup.
the
Gotcha.
stuff from the Runes of Aldor. So how are you feeling about plus level balance overall?
Fireball
at
is
this
good.
point
Is
now,
it
or
good?
moving
I've
forwards
never
towards
seen anybody
1.0?
use
Is that
it.
on your radar there?
Chaos
is still
Fireball
on
is
the
good.
radar,
Okay,
yes.
well, what
I
about
haven't
just
actually done the
non-chaos
changes
Fireball?
for it yet, and I don't 100% know exactly what to
Okay.
do. But I mean, we've had
How hard is it to get
probably
Chaos Fireball set up
15
off like a league
discussions
start
about it
scenario?
now, so it's one of those. It's turning into the next dexterity for sure. And we'll see.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll end up somewhere for sure. I just don't know exactly what that is right now, but it's the second on the spreadsheet. There's like a spreadsheet called Mark to do something, and
It's one unique.
second
Okay.
one. So it's the
What's number one out of interest?
we're having another balance meeting today to discuss it. So what is number one? It's probably just whatever I added last. Number one is reserved for this hasn't been sorted in the list yet.
Okay.
Because I just insert at the top of the sheet.
that
and
bad?
add
Okay,
stuff,
okay.
So and then it gets
I
reprioritized.
see. But that one,
Number
that one
two-
stays at number 2. I see. Okay. Have you
added-
guys discussed like some of the things being kicked around? I've seen like I don't know what's a good solution and what's not, and for what reasons here. But have you discussed like maybe like level 30 is the cap that you can reach for gems, or limiting the amount you can get there, or is it more of something you're looking at? Oh, well, it's maybe just about getting the numbers right. Like we just want to bring those down to certain levels. Where do you kind of feel it is?
Caps have there is a cap, but yes, caps have been discussed. I think the important thing we want to do is not kill. Well, honestly, I would say there is a few problems with like caster itemization, and I want to make sure
Yeah.
that we don't just take away that itemization. Even very early in the game, caster itemization isn't as good as it could be. But it's really hard when you're dealing with fundamental mod pools. Like even early game runes are not as impactful, obviously, for casters, right? Where you get like flat damage ones for attackers. And
Sissy
casters
Fireball is
don't,
also
and
really
it propagates all the way through.
good.
And I
Okay.
get that some of the leagues have added some breach caster items, for example, have added some in-game itemization, but
Yeah,
there
we'll
is a
see.
more
We'll see what I'm
fundamental
doing,
problem
chat.
here for sure. So I don't. I just don't want to make the itemization
We'll
for
see, chat.
casters worse. Let's make
Yeah,
it really. That's honestly how it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to
get
see what
that
you come up with there then.
I get that it extends further than just casters, but like
Generally
that's
arc
the
or
main
flame
thing of
blast.
not wanting to ruin.
Yeah,
I
there's
know
almost two
everyone.
separate discussions there.
And they do the
everyone has
fire
a different
infusions. Okay,
perception of
okay.
like, you know, what is good itemization or not. I'm talking about just generally what we believe to be good itemization, as opposed to,
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
I don't necessarily see an inherent problem with plus levels. I think it's just that the power level of it and its availability is high to the point where it does crowd out other item choices. So it
Love how
feels like
Twitch is still
you
messed
know,
up. Like
if
you
it's
literally
not
can't
that,
load
then
anybody's channel or
it's
see
not worth
anybody. You're
using,
looking at Twitch at all.
We
effectively, is the
definitely
problem.
have a thing right now where every single caster unique that gets made, it's like doesn't have plus gem levels, sucks.
I mean,
And
gemling anything looks
so
great,
even
right?
with all of the new uniques we've been making, it's like you kind of want to default to be like this.
I do
needs
wonder what the
+4,
interest
this
of
needs +6,
this
this
league
needs
is going to be though.
+7,
This
and so
event
we
league,
really had
right?
to put this on literally everything.
Yeah.
Like I wonder how
But
many
to
people's
be
actually going
fair,
to log
like,
on and play
you
this
know,
new
in
stuff,
the same
or
way
just
that
wait
you're
till
making
1.0.
when you're making a weapon, like generally you can't just be like, nah, I'm not going to put any damage
I
mods
might
on it,
just.
so
I'm trying to
fuck
think.
it,
Maybe I'll
cast
just
weapons.
do
So it just doesn't feel
update
quite the
our
same, and I
Twister
do understand
for
why.
you
I've
know
discussed that before, but
for like the rite of
we'll
passage
see what
event,
happens. But we will do something.
Right. So the Forbidden Rites
which literally
event,
is nothing because
just
there's
to
no
clarify
balance
for folks,
changes.
this being an event
So
is
it's
different to a regular expansion. It's
you
a different
know,
thing
but
entirely. It's not a
we're here.
league and expansion in that same way. So what of the changes that you talked about are specific to this Forbidden Rites event versus core game changes here as well?
Yeah,
Yes,
so
what's
this is
that?
our first time ever that we've had a league be both running and core.
Yeah.
And we just noticed there was a lot of people still playing Runes of Aldo. We didn't want to end it. So we wanted to keep that running. So we've had to do a large number of hacks to both support something being core and not. But
It's weird.
the tablets are for the event and standard league. So the because the league is in every area in Runes of Aldo, you don't get tablets to further it. What else have we changed there? I mean, you don't get remnants in every area during the event, but you can once you start using tablets. And you know, it's honestly for those who've obviously played leagues and seen leagues go core, or people who played our previous leagues for PoE 2, like Fate of the Val, and then you know the Temple became core. Ultimately, it should feel like all the content from Runes of Aldo is now in its core state while you're playing in the event and standard leagues. And if you continue to play Runes of Aldo, you should notice no difference. That's pretty much it. We have made some changes, like obviously it's not introduced now until, so currently in the Forbidden Rites event, the content, the characters aren't introduced until Act 4 when you're doing the quest in Act 4. So you won't see any through Act 1, 2, and 3.
Both of the games I
What else is
playing called their
there? I think the
seasonal
only other
content
thing
leagues.
we may have, I'm pretty sure we changed it, is which I don't know how people are going to respond to this one, but we've removed from the Forbidden Rites and Standard League, so it's not in the current Runes of Aldo. It didn't want to affect the economy, but Elder Saga, the mods from it are now in the core mod pool of what can generate on logbooks, as opposed to requiring that item. You'll have to determine the rarity yourself. And then we've replaced that outcome from the remnant encounters, just so that the entirety of the end game for that isn't just Elder Sagaing, and that's it.
Awesome. Good stuff. The ritual, speaking of like the end game here for the league, for the new league, the event, the Sacred Bloom from the rituals that lets you add the Sacred Wildwood to maps. How rare are these roughly? Is that something we could be applying to every decent map, or just kind of the most juiced ones because it's like going to be rare and valuable? It's a big thing, being able to get the Wildwood.
It's about 1 in 5 maps to get one about, but
Okay.
give or take.
Give me 1 second, guys. I will be
so,
right
yeah,
back.
You're
I
not
just
gonna run
gotta
every
go
map,
do
but
something
of
real
course
quick.
it's
Right back.
tradable. So
yeah,
feel free to just go ahead and buy them. So yeah, I don't know. I think that was a pretty decent rate, but you know, we may still iterate on that.
That seems like the sort of thing you could easily like afford to run fairly frequently then. With that being the case, back in when we had this before in Affliction League, it was probably the most insane juicing thing we've ever had. So both in terms of difficulty and reward, which is really cool for a number of reasons. Like obviously people like big loot explosions, but also you could make like the hardest monsters of all time outside of like, you know, deepest delves. Is this potentially going to be a similarly spicy thing for Path of Exile 2?
it's obviously pretty hard to compare the drops because it's just an entirely different drop ecosystem. Like, are you going to be having to hover and identify 100 heavy belts in every map? Probably not, you know. But for those who that is my strict memory of Affliction is like I am so sick of looking at heavy belts on the ground.
Yep.
You know, I think they actually got 2 mirrors in that league as well, which I feel like shouldn't happen, but maybe even more than that.
Crazy. I've only ever got
Anyway.
one in more.
Yes, I have equal memories of Affliction. Don't worry about that. But the way that the wisps scale the monsters is a bit different anyway. So instead of just rarity, PoE1 did rarity, quantity, and chance for items to be currency, I believe as it was. Instead, here what we've done is blue wisps turn monsters magic, normal monsters magic, yellow wisps add mods to rare monsters, and purple wisps add rarity to everything. So purple, magenta, and so if you're stacking rare monsters, obviously yellow and purple is the right combination to get. So are you going to expect the same levels of juice? Hard to say. It should definitely be a good alternate way to juice in-game maps compared to say something like Delirium right now. And of course, though, you can stack both of them. So to some degree, of course, because they both get better with tablets, so they are contesting with one another. But you can just run both and stack it with everything else that is in the in-game currently. So should be pretty out there, pretty crazy.
Right on. Rapid fire. The Trial of Chaos was the changes there look amazing. It was one of my least favorite parts of the game. So those changes, there's a huge set of improvements there. Love to see that. Is Sekima's likely to get a similar treatment?
There's a new
on
wisp
the way
bell.
1.0. It's not as bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that would work with the bow with
good.
companion damage. You know, it seems a little interesting.
Existing content that needs improving. It is the next, like as an actual in content, not like character side or balance or anything. It is the next thing on our list that is the worst thing.
The next worst.
So yes, we definitely want to, but obviously, lot to do for the end of the year. So we'll have to see if we can fit it in, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like if not, I would say if not for release, then you'd look at it for 1.1 kind of territory for sure. But honestly, the changes we made to Trial of Chaos are like it's so much better. Like oh my god. And it should never have been in that state. Like I was writing and reading all the patch notes, and I was just like, we should never have had to write this. This should not have ever needed to have been a patch note. This is like horrendous. And I'm sure when we get through Trial of Sekimas, we're going to have a similar situation going on. So it's not as bad. At least there's like a kind of strategy there to some degree and ways to make money and, divines. But yeah, it needs a substantial amount of love for sure.
Awesome. Good to hear it then. So a few more rapid fires on the end game. The challenge level of end game caps out pretty early currently. That's good for build diversity, honestly. But it does mean that there are some limited options for like testing your more powerful characters. Uber bosses and more challenging like end game content. That's something on the radar for maybe for 1.0 or something.
I don't want to commit to like higher tiers of boss content and difficulty to too much of a degree, especially with respect to Uber bosses, until we have the character balance in the right spot. And in theory, 1.0 should have them in the right spot. But you know how balance goes with these things, with live service products in particular. And similar to PoE1, right? It's every single league we have balance changes. So it's one of those infinite tasks. That being said, I definitely don't want to add Uber boss content until we've felt like that's in a stable spot for sure. I actually went out of my way to play a number of kind of atrocious builds this league. Just like I picked literally the worst thing.
I just don't know how the damage would be on it. Epic was the thing, and the clear and
honestly,
stuff.
Fighting those pinnacles with those
it's my biggest thing, right?
Was insanely difficult. And I was like, if we were to add content beyond this, it's just impossible. It's just not going to even be possible. It was actually like and I played a good character as well, and I was just like, okay, we need to we've got some work to do here before we go and create a bunch of content that a bunch of players will literally never be able to even achieve, even if they did everything right. Because the character balance is the low end is just not in the right spot at all, and honestly, the very very top end, the top 1% kind of builds, is not in the right spot either. So, once we get that, I'm hoping to be able to actually start, thinking about it.
Okay,
But I
yeah.
mean, the Wildwood will go
Makes sense.
towards making things harder. So rest
True,
assured.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some juicing potential there. There's been a few questions about the state of tablets, focusing on tablet management, trading, rolling them, the work that kind of goes into getting the modifiers that you want for your in-game farming strategies. You get it compared to things like scarabs, which have those set effects. So they've got that double whammy of like random modifiers and the limited uses. What do you like or not like about the current tablet design? Is this something you're thinking about at all, or is this kind of the first time you've heard that brought up? Yeah, how are you guys feeling about tablets overall there?
We've actually discussed it pretty in depth recently when also
cool.
talking about PoE 1 with respect to like the current state of endgame there and talking about all of the changes we want to make around there and how it compares to PoE 2 and what parts do we like and not like. Personally, I really like the tablet, the mod rolling side of things. And what we've found is generally over time, there is at least an audience that are more aligned towards wanting determinism, and thus the mod rolling can get phased out. And I actually think that this has been a big part of the discussion where we're looking at this. I feel like by adding more determinism and removing these like random axes, the strategies end up becoming quite dull and then have to just be balanced around that determinism.
Tried the Twitch trial more than 2 weeks ago and still haven't
muted.
received it. I'm
And
gonna be
then
like a
you've
month
just
for receiving
lost
the mystery box.
kind of
Damn, that sucks,
everything
man.
because everything is all equal.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do
everything's
because
all
like Twitch is
balanced.
messed up right now. So the people that are trying to get their
effect,
you know
definitely it's had that effect.
Twitch rewards
as to
right now,
where
like how
the fine
they're
line is
gonna get
between
that.
the kind of mod rolling and the determinism. I'd say that it's something we still have to kind of figure out, but I'm quite happy with how that is right now, where there's like some crazy stuff you can do, but it requires specific tablets with specific mods. And so, yeah, I immediately, I caught us, we were actually doing this for 055. I was like, all of a sudden I saw a bunch of the really spike modifiers getting kind of like people pushing to nerf this, nerf that, get this in line with the rest of the content. And I was like, let's not do that right now. I think there's one or two that like, okay, I understand the beyond reason, but I was like, let's pull back some of that because I want to actually reevaluate how much power you should be able to get out of these random modifiers as opposed to things that are just baseline always on. So yeah, there's still some evaluation to do there, but personally, I'm quite happy with it. I love that you get some tablets that are out of control and cause you to have, well, my recent demonstration, an army of sentinels or sentries following you around, adding runes to everything. We have some crazy stuff with the expedition. I mean, the expedition tablet mod is actually a lot larger and has a lot more spike stuff at the top. So I'm actually quite curious to see how people feel about that in the Forbidden Rights, to see how that plays as well. We've tried to make sure that mod pool is larger than the other tablet mod pools to see if that is a something people resonate well with or not well with as well. So yeah, you can. Okay. Anyway, my point being, like, we're still discussing it, and we're still kind of testing some stuff with the tablets, and Forbidden Rights will reveal some of that. But ultimately, personally, I'm pretty happy with where it sits overall.
Awesome. Yeah, it's good to hear it's in discussion then. One thing I saw that was like maybe an easy win was to get bookmarks in for the in-game trade, because I think people use that for convenience when trying to trade this stuff, and being able to set those up and bookmark those would be pretty sweet.
Pretty sure that is a thing.
Oh.
So
yeah,
we have favorite trades and recent trades as two things that are internally, as of yesterday, implemented on PoE 2.
Oh hell yeah! Awesome.
I think it was on gamepad and or console, and now it's on keyboard mouse as of yesterday internally, and that we should be able to get that into 055.
Yes, excellent. Easy win. Good to hear. Well, I will let you folks go, and we've got a race to prepare for. To swap over to here in just a moment. Looking forward to casting out as the grand final of the qualifiers.
Yeah.
It's going to be a spicy one for sure. So, thanks very much for joining me, Mark and Jonathan, for the Q&A here once again, and best of luck with the
Thank you
rest
very
of
much
your
for
shipment.
hosting. It's always a pleasure to have you to ask the questions, and hopefully you guys enjoy the Duelist when you finally get to play it on December the 11th when the game comes out.
Look forward to
All
seeing
right.
what you have in store for us at ExileCon as well. We'll see you
Yeah,
then,
absolutely.
maybe.
Well, there's certainly a
Thanks,
lot more stuff
everyone.
to announce. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Cheers.
See
Thanks,
you
Siggy.
later.
Okay. Now we got the Exile Con qualifier race number 4. So everything's over. I mean, me 10 out of 10 on swords. This looks amazing. The builds look really cool. A lot of the new unique swords look dope. Can't wait for that. The what do you call it? Forbidden Right event looks cool. Sucks that we didn't get balance changes. Not really too sure what I'll play. I'll probably hop in, play for a little bit. Definitely something to hold you over for a few weeks at the minimum, just to try the stuff out in the new economy, right? The new events, Wisp, that sort of stuff. But yeah. Size number with a raise. I'm gonna make she bet on it. Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Check your Discord. I got you, Warlordy. Man over here, man. So yeah, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna play. Do you guys have anything in mind? Do you guys know what you're playing right now? Of what you would be making for your Forbidden Rights event character and build? Like I said, for me, I'm not too sure. It might be something like Gemling Bow, maybe Gemling Frost Arts. I'm not really too sure. Maybe a wolf build. I mean, I haven't played that in a while. Yeah, I'm not too sure, like, low key. Because, I mean, there's no balance changes, so you literally could just pick whatever you played last time. Like, I could go Twisters again, right? You could go Ice Shine. I mean, everything is not being changed, so I'm just not really too sure what I want to, because I want to do something new, but I'm not too sure what I'm in the mood for. Because I was really hoping that a lot of the underperforming skills would have gotten buffed so this way we could play them, right? And do new builds and stuff like that or with them, but obviously that's not the case this time around. And then Twitch is still messed up. OD. You literally can't even load anything. Like, I can't even load my channel. I don't know how many people's watching. Like, everything is just fucked on Twitch. Hopefully it'll be up soon. But I'll have to start looking for stuff, looking into builds and stuff like that. The thing drops, for anybody that doesn't know, the Rite of Passage, is that what it's called? The Forbidden Rights event. It starts on September 4th, PDT. I would assume you're around probably the same time as the stream, like 3 p.m. and something like that. So we have about a week on that until that goes live. So I'll try to think of something, what I'm going to be playing. I'll probably just go ahead and do like an updated sort of, Twister guide for the Forbidden Rights event for people that want to play that. And then whatever I'm going to be playing, I'll probably go ahead and just make a quick video on that. And, we'll kind of just go from there probably. I think is probably the plan for now. Put out some, like at least start on that. I'm surprised the FCC or we haven't like done anything about that. It's just that scares the offline. I don't care about that. I think wonder what people are on Reddit are saying right now, real quick about the stuff. The Twitch die. Yeah, Twitch is dead. I would have preferred sweeping balance changes instead of the trial of gas rework. Yeah, I agree with that, but I think that was just a lot easier to do than the trial, the balance changes, I mean. Yeah, it seems people are just confused why we didn't get balance changes. What I can see right here. When is the event league? The event league starts on September 4th. Right here. Arrives next week, September 4th, BDT. Patch notes will be made available soon. So next Friday is when the event goes live. So like I said, I'll try to figure out what I'm playing. Probably do a updated Twister's guide for it, and then whatever I'm going to be playing. And then we'll just kind of go from there, play it for, a bit, see how much fun we have with it, all that good stuff, and then just kind of go from there. I mean, it's not fun. But since Twitch is still wholly dolly messed up, all right, well, I'm gonna go try to figure out what I'm gonna be doing, and I gotta take care of some stuff really quickly. But that is the end of the stream for today. We should be live again out tomorrow. If anything changes, obviously I'll let you guys know in the Discord, and you guys can find that by doing ! Discord and chat. I'll try to figure out what I'm playing, and like I said, I'll probably do an updated Twister guide for you, for everybody that wants to play that in the Forbidden Rights event, and then a guide on whatever we're playing. But yeah, thank you guys for vibing out today, and obviously dropping the follows on Twitch and subbing and stuff like that on YouTube. It's much appreciated, guys. I hope to see you guys back with us tomorrow. Let me know what you guys are playing, by the way, in the Discord. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the league starters for the new Forbidden Rights event. Again, that happens next Friday, aka September 4th. So let me know in Discord. But I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys later. PP Flame Blast build, trust me, I'll take a look later today for it.